Hello, and welcome to the Mild and Lazy Guys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
And on today's episode, we are back after yet another lengthy delay. We do apologize. But we are back. We have a full show for you. We're going to get into some stories from our junk mail segment. We've got a good Mount Rushmore in honor of Big Brother Season 23 wrapping up. We're going to go over our biggest Big Brother villains and assholes. We've got Pick Your Poison. In the movie review, we reviewed the 1994 film Ace Ventura, starring a very young Jim Carrey. And then we are going to talk Cowboys. We've got 2-3 Cowboy games to go over. We're probably not going to hit too much on the old one, on the last few, but we're coming to you from on a Sunday night.
Mm-hmm. Hours after a victory.
We'll
take a little shit on Philly. We can't just gloss over that.
We can't let them skate by. And then we're going to wrap up with what we're watching and what are we listening to. But before we start, if I could you please, if you haven't already, go to iTunes, leave us a rating and review. Apple Podcast, if you're on an iPhone, every rating helps. Please leave a review. Follow us on Spotify. Spotify has a feature now where you can follow us. So anytime a new episode drops, you'll be notified and you can get it when it drops. We do have merch on our Instagram page. That's at Mild and Lazy. Follow us there. We have a merch link in the bio, so if you want to get some swag, support the pod, you can get it there. But with that, let's get on to the show. What's up, man? It's good to be back in the seat.
It's good.
Back in the saddle.
Good day. Got to go to a Cowboys game for free.
I can't beat that. How was it? Tell me about it. It was your first one, right?
First one at the new stadium.
I got
to go to a couple, in Irving, again for free because like a friend of mine growing up in high school took me, which was nice.
Well, really nowadays, guys like this, that's the only way we can go.
Right.
So
everything was good. Parking is ridiculous. So I thought it was going to be like $75, which I was already like out on. Turns out it's now $150.
That's just unreal.
Yeah. So unless you just want to walk, a good 2 miles, or just circle around until you find a spot. So we actually found a spot just under 2 miles away, and there's a shuttle bus. So you pay $20, flat rate. We all got on. There was 4 of us. I should say we got the tickets because my buddy and my brother-in-law's work gave them the tickets, and my brother-in-law was out of the country still on work. So it was my sister, her mother-in-law, her son, my nephew, and I took the place of Brett, my brother-in-law. So there's 4 of us. We get $20. We get to go on the bus, but we're like, well, how are we gonna get back? Like, you gonna pick us up? And they're like, no. This is a one-way shuttle. Like, we'll drop you off. And they were like, some people either walk back or you can take an Uber. We're like, okay, so how far is it? And they told us it was half a mile. And that was some bullshit because it was much closer to 2 miles, which doesn't sound bad, but it's in a very populated, because the game's over, 100,000 people are trying to leave. And there's like sidewalks that would end, and then we're just walking in the road, like hugging a guardrail, like, like in a single file line where you got that white line, and then you got the guardrail, and there's about, 18 inches of space. And cars are just, casually going 40, 45 miles an hour past you. So that was the only bad part. I've always heard parking sucks, and it does, unless you just have like a lot of, disposable money and you just want to put $150 on it, which we weren't going to do. But other than that, once we got there, it was really good. My sister was nice enough to actually like buy me some food. So I had a Philly cheesesteak, which was delicious. You always hear they have good food there, and what I had it was delicious. Got a drink, got a souvenir cup that I'm sure will just soon enough just be used to wash Ellie's hair. It's usually what happens with those cups. Seats, they were up top, but there's a big fucking TV right there, and there's, that's the length of the field is that way. So it's like, from end zone to end zone, and then facing the other way are smaller TVs, and by smaller I mean they're only like 50 fucking feet. It's like ridiculous. So you do get caught up like watching the monitor a lot, except when they were on our end. And I don't know how to describe which side we were on. We were on this side. So when the action was over there, I could really focus on it, and just the atmosphere. It's a good time to be a Cowboys fan with our offense and our defense coming together. Every big every big play our offense had. You know, we were going crazy every big sack or turnover. So just all in all, man, great fucking time. Couldn't be happier to go to a game for free. And if anyone else wants to take me to a game for free, I'm more than willing to attend.
Except we're a package deal, so you have to take the show as a group.
Sacrifice both of your tickets and give them to me and Matt.
I went to one, back in 2016, probably 2015 maybe.
Probably 15 because of who you said was
15,
playing.
yeah. It was against the Jets. It was late in the year. It was the year that Romo got hurt right before we drafted Dak. Kellen Moore, our offensive coordinator, was starting the game. I think he threw like 2 or 3 picks. We got ran out by the Jets. I mean,
how bad is that? Run out by the Jets.
And it wasn't, the atmosphere wasn't there. I think it was like a December game. You could hear conversations like a section over happening. I was surrounded by Jets fans.
You could tell it was a bad year because that year we picked number 4 overall. So like you said, December, it's just been a rough year. People are probably just done.
But it was cool. It was, I want to say it was like a Sunday night game for some reason.
I would love to go to a Sunday night game and get there early.
Yeah.
Like noon and because that's the one thing I was going to say. Dude, people tailgating are doing it right. They had the best setup. So I would pay $150 or $75 each if me and you went. And we just cooked out, brought a canopy, and just chill. Get a couple more buddies, and we just stayed out in the parking lot, like for a Sunday night game, or even like a 3:30 game, so we can get there at like noon. Get a little wild, but not too crazy, and then come 7:30, we're heading home.
Yeah, because all we need is a smart TV, because I have a YouTube TV account and like a hotspot, and hook it up, and then we'd have the game right there.
Yeah, because we were walking back, to get to our vehicle, which that was the worst part, like I said, but. Just the setups people had, it was amazing. Like smoking the food, playing cornhole, the game's on, music's playing. I'm like, this is, I would rather do this because the game was fun, but I'm not going to lie. I like watching it in my house, in my chair.
Yeah.
With the ability to pause and get a drink.
I made a sacrifice today. I went and hung out with my dad, which is weird because my dad he's a boomer, if I can use that term.
Oh, of course.
He's a boomer.
It's not a bad term. My dad's a boomer.
He's a boomer. He's one of the dudes that wrote off the NFL when they started kneeling and stuff.
I know.
And
yeah.
he doesn't watch, but he was like, hey, do you want to come over and grill out and watch the game? I'm like, yeah, sure. It just wasn't the same because, like, I couldn't – we watched it. It was a cool setup. He's got a man cave that he added on to his house. So he's – he's an old hippie, so you walk through. They just knocked a threshold through the garage, so you walk through the garage and then through the threshold, and that's his man cave. He's got a hot tub set up. He's got a TV up in the corner.
Dude.
Yeah.
Your dad's doing it right.
He's got it carpeted. He's got hippie beads hanging down from the threshold. What? He's just an old hippie. So,
let him introduce me to him.
I will, yeah.
I'll go watch a game. Well, maybe.
It was cool hanging out with my dad, whatever. Landry got in the hot tub and
Landry's getting in.
Dude, he was, and I forgot he had it, so I didn't bring him any shorts. And he was like, Dad, I want to get in. I was like, just get down to your underwear. Next thing I know, he's naked, already in the hot tub. I was like, Dad, Landry's naked in your hot tub. He's like, whatever. So Landry was in the hot tub, me and him were watching the game. I grilled some bacon wrapped shrimp and a steak.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it's not like being at the house where I can just focus, and this TV wasn't the greatest, but all in all, not a bad day.
It's always good to watch a game with your dad.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was into it more than what I thought, but he was a lot of questions because he hadn't followed him. So he's like, who's this number 20? Like, it's
Oh, he's better than Zeke. Did
Tony Pollard. No, it didn't, because Zeke had a good game. But
Zeke did have a good game. Maybe I'm his good luck charm.
Maybe
the closer I am proximity, because he did have, I think he had like a 47-yard run or
his longest since 2016.
Wow, his rookie year. What do you know?
We'll get into it because I held off. But yeah, no, it was good. It was fine. Landry got to hang out with his papa, and it was all good. But you're right. There's nothing like being, because you've got your ritual, you've got your seat, you composite. You've got,
You usually prepare food before, or going then.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. So yeah, no, Cowboy games are definitely different in person. I mean, I've only been to one, but I did catch myself like watching it up, up at the screen.
Yeah, and we were so high up, it was almost eye level.
Eye level,
for us.
yeah.
So why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
and it's like one of the biggest TVs in the world. You got to admire it. That's why they put it there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So anything else? How's the baby? we have baby update?
Yeah, we went to the doctor Thursday. I got off for it. It wasn't an ultrasound. They just checked like,
Probably vitals or
vitals. Yeah, we heard the heartbeat, and he like measured her tummy to see. I guess they can measure the baby that way. Said everything was good. That we're still expecting, around that time. But if it's a bigger baby, because they said they were like, well, your first kid was a big baby, and I don't think it was. I think Ellie was like 8 pounds 6 ounces.
it's pretty.
I thought that was like average, but I was like, okay. And of course, Claire was like, well, that was a big baby. Claire was like almost 11 pounds. Like Claire
Holy
ruined
shit.
her mother. Yeah, and then their sister had to be a C-section baby because of Claire
Way to go,
basically
Claire.
coming down all shoulders and elbows and knees coming out of there.
That is a big baby.
That is a big baby. So they were like, well, since you have a history of that in your family, like, we don't want you to let this thing cook any longer. I don't think they use that terminology, but
It's appropriate. That's medical.
yeah, that sounds about right. I did perform a labor before. Like, I was there for one, so I picked up a little lingo. But I was like, man, if we could have this baby like second week of December, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be great.
Tax purposes, I can take off of work for like a month, right at the height of like all our shit for work. So I was like, Claire, I might just start like, picking you up and dropping you on the ground real hard, like
Suplex.
like maybe we'll go jump on a trampoline or something.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic if that baby came out like 2 weeks before Christmas.
That'd be awesome for you.
It would be. Selfishly, it would be.
Speaking of babies, I want to give a shout out to friend and listener Eric. Him and his wife Christina.
That's right.
Gave birth to a healthy baby girl.
Third girl, isn't it?
Third girl.
Girl dead.
Yep, 3 for 3 on the girls.
I would have been fine with another girl.
Yeah.
I only wanted, I'm good with the boy because I was like the last of my namesake.
But now
So now I'm like, all right, pressure's on you, man. Like,
yep. Whew.
Exactly. Those are my dad did the same thing. Like, I had my one son, I'm done. But I really like having a little daughter. So I was like, if we had a second one and you have a cool kid, like my kid's awesome, so why wouldn't I like her? But, found out it's a boy. I'm not disappointed. I love that little man. I talked to him, get on his belly. I said, we're going to crush the fucking Eagles this week. I said, the Eagles are shit. I said, next week we got the Giants. We're going to crush the fucking Giants. I started whispering to him.
Yeah.
It's like this time next year, we'll be watching these games together, man.
Well, that's awesome, man. And shout out to Eric. Congrats. Can't wait to have you back in the office.
Yeah, and Eric, I'm sorry. I know you really want to play Destiny, but, I want to play Destiny too also with you. It's just hard to get time. Hard to sit down and be like, kind of zone out from my family so I can play. Even though it's a fun game. I'll give you that, man. We're going to get down on it sometime. We will play.
All right. So congrats, Eric.
And also, Matt really wants to take you to that Chinese buffet that you always go to.
No, I don't.
Matt's been talking about it nonstop.
No, I don't.
Just ask him one more time.
For reference, there is a Chinese buffet in town that literally, I'm not lying, it almost killed somebody. They had $1 million lawsuit against him, and Eric and his gutter palate.
Can't get enough of it.
I sold my soul one day. I was like, dude, I need this project out. I really don't want to deal. I was like, all right, Eric, I'll make you a deal. If you do this project for me, I will go to the buffet. And because I know he's going to listen, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I just didn't eat the rice. I didn't eat any rice. I just ate orange chicken. The orange chicken was pretty good.
That's about the bare minimum you
but
could do there.
I did find a good Chinese spot in Ferris of all places. It was legit. It was good. And I'm pretty harsh critic on Chinese food, as you could tell. But yeah, nothing's been going on with me. Just work.
Well, what's the name of the restaurant?
Star Chinese Cafe
in Ferris, Texas.
In Ferris, right on the square. I mean, you can't miss
Ferris. I just never go out that way because it is kind of out of the way for us,
And neither do we. But I was on Facebook. I don't know when it was, but somebody asked for recommendations for good Chinese food, and everybody's like The Wall,
Rice Box Express here is pretty
Box, good. And then one person was like, Star Chinese Cafe in Ferris. You won't find better Chinese food.
And you clicked his picture and he's some huge fat guy. And you're like, this guy knows what's up.
No, I didn't click, but I Googled it immediately, and it had like 4.5 or 5 stars, and everything looked good on the picture. So we went on Friday, and they charge you 85 cents for an egg roll.
I've probably get about 5 of them.
Yeah. The egg drop soup is fantastic. I had Mongolian beef. It was really good, really fresh. I think Lauren, she got some fried rice or something like combo fried rice. It was good. Landry got sweet and sour chicken because it's basically just Chinese chicken nuggets.
Of course. Classic Landry with that.
Yeah. But it was good. So, so we found a good little Chinese spot.
Well, since we're talking food, I'll quick shout out. We went to that jalapeno lemon pepper off 287.
It's good, right?
That was very solid. We were trying to go back tomorrow with Claire's family because we went with Saturday, so, a week ago, from yesterday with my family for my mom's birthday because my mom's birthday was this week, so we went during the weekend. Dude, it was really good.
That's good to hear because their original location's in Midlothian, so I was wondering if there would be like any drop off of quality. Like,
I don't have a
locations,
and it was like good prices. They brought out like bean dip with the salsa.
Bean dip is solid,
good, yeah. And the waiter was like a really nice guy, like joking. Like usually I'm like minimal talk, but he just had that kind of personality where you're like couldn't help but like kind of respond to him and good people. I think they had like a stage out back. Looked like they had like a platform, like where you could, and then like bench seating. So I was like, I'm pretty sure you can go outside and like listen to music.
Right.
They don't have their liquor license yet, so they're basically giving away free margaritas. So they brought a table full of margaritas, and Claire's just hammering them back.
Good for her. Wait a second. That's not good. I was about to say, good for you.
I can't drink margaritas, man. They've given me the worst heartburn. So I just gave I think my mom drank them all, to be honest.
Good for her then.
Yeah, my mom had a good time.
But yeah, nothing really going on. Just work. I don't know, probably about 6 months ago, I was tossing around the idea of going back to grad school and getting my master's. Finally pulled the trigger on that.
Really?
So I applied, got accepted. So starting in January, I'll be going back to school.
In person?
No, online.
For A&M Commerce?
A&M Commerce, yeah. It'll be 100% online, just like my bachelor's. So I just want to add some more value to myself when it comes to my employer now and then, or in the future.
That'll definitely help out.
Yeah. So I discussed it with them. I was like, "Hey, look, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you think it's a good move? Would it help me here?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, they value education, so I think I'm going to go back, and I don't think I am going back. So I'm going to start that in January. Really, other than that, just work and family, and that's about it.
About it for me, too.
I didn't have a real exciting break from this the last time we talked.
Seems like it wasn't that long of a break, though, was it?
I think it's been about a month.
Fuck, really?
We're not doing good.
Well, we covered week 1 because we took a shell over airline.
Okay, so maybe it was 3 weeks.
It was going into week, so it was about 3 weeks, which is wild. We always say like, can't wait to be back and do this again.
Yeah,
and then it's like shit happens, and yeah.
So
we'll figure it out. You know what? You get what you get. You don't
throw a fit.
Exactly.
All right, so let's get into junk mail. And our first story, if you haven't heard, there is it was started out as a missing persons case, and it's now since turned into a murder and a manhunt. But it is the Brian Laundrie and the Gabby Petito. I don't know case, I guess. Gabby Petito case. But basically, it was a boyfriend and girlfriend. She had went missing, and her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, had driven across the country without her in her van. And, kind of the whole country was tuned in at that point.
Yeah. But once you start seeing like footage, I saw one, they were in Utah. Mm-hmm. And you could tell like something was wrong, but they couldn't just get like a straight up answer like of the situation. It's kind of one of those things where the cops are like, "Hey, if no one's bleeding or nothing's bad, it's like this is just a dispute. Like y'all, two adults, like y'all need to handle it." Of course, they didn't know what was really happening. That she would probably be dead in a few days.
And those cops have got to have been just sick.
Yeah,
we had.
But at the same time, it's like it's just
how do you know?
Yeah, it's like it just seemed like a regular. Just like I said, nobody was like bleeding. If she felt in fear for her life, she could have said something, had the opportunity, but she didn't. So just like the cops were like, okay, and then let him go. And then the body was found in so then the weird thing was how he just like leaves without her, and he's like, yeah, I haven't seen her in a long time. I'm gonna head back to Florida and act like nothing, nothing happened, and people are like, well, where is she? Like,
So
can't just leave without her.
Yeah, and then the FBI uncovered her remains at a Wyoming campsite.
Yeah, so the video we saw in Utah, they went up to Wyoming because didn't they convert that van to like be a living van?
Yeah, they were kind of on the road in like a tiny home van situation. So they found her remains at a Wyoming campsite, and then Laundrie snuck off into the night. And there's, when this kind of stuff happens, we're true crime fans, so we hear it all the time, or we listen to podcasts about it. All these rumors and stories and tips come out. Apparently, like, the day before all this happened, like, the Brian Laundrie's family had reserved a campsite for 3 people, and then the next day they canceled or they revised it for 4 people. The FBI has been all over their house, pulling boxes and boxes of evidence out.
Yeah, his whole family's got to, if not be involved somehow. It's like, was it harboring a fugitive or
aiding and abetting?
Aiding and abetting, yeah. They did something because he came back, and then they were just like, he's like, oh, we're not taking any questions. It's like, God, this is like a murder case. You don't just get to like say no to the press.
Yeah.
And then, before they could get him.
But now a new development has arisen. Arose?
There you go.
Okay. Are you familiar with one Dwayne Chapman, otherwise known as Dog?
You talking about Dog the Bounty Hunter? Hell yeah.
So he has joined the search.
Oh, it's over. After
friends, fans, and family urged him to get involved, he said. Let me see.
We should say this is after the boyfriend just like vanished,
Yeah. So he said something stood out about this case. His daughter, Barbara Katie Chapman, died in a rollover car crash in Alaska near her Fairbanks home in 2006 when she was 23. Petito was 22. Quote, because I lost a daughter about the same age, I know what the parents feel like, Chapman told Fox News. And you want justification. You want the guy behind bars. Francie Chapman, the bounty hunter's wife, also noted that she and her husband had been widowed and said that played an emotional role in getting them involved in the case. But I think the family turned him away.
Well, yeah, he's probably looked like a maniac coming up there and banging on the door, calling, "Dog's here, dog's on the case."
Hey, dog's here, and dude. If you see this, like he
has not aged well.
Dude, his mullet is fantastic.
Okay, maybe he did.
And let me see if I can play this audio.
Oh man, we got some dog audio.
Let me see.
God, I hope so.
Buffering is not good.
Pizza.
Okay. That's an ad. But yeah, I think he got turned away. Let me see if this will work now. Oh, this is him knocking on the door.
Yeah, frantically. Look at it.
He was beating the shit out of that door, dude.
Yeah. Probably why they turned him away.
Oh, they got people taking pictures.
You're going to have to keep doing commentary because I can't see what's going on.
Sorry. No, he's knocking on the door. Now he's talking to somebody like off to the side of the house. Now he's walking over to the side of the house.
Yeah, he probably didn't even get a face-to-face like meeting with the family.
Looks like he's talking to a neighbor. He's talking to the neighbor. They've got it all caution taped off.
Got the grass this morning.
All right, there's not a whole lot here.
I thought of a good name though for the case.
What's that?
The Dog Days of Summer.
The Dog Days of Summer.
If only he was given a chance, man. It could have been like a great episode title.
Oh man. So Dog Bounty Hunter, he's on the case.
If you ever hear this, call in.
Yeah, call in.
Give us a call. Give us a 5-star rating.
Give us your side. But he says that he's close. I'm pulling up an article now from the New York Post.
To finding him?
Yeah.
Finding the guy?
Dog the Bounty Hunter is working to confirm tip about Brian Laundrie's location. He had a quote that he was within a day of him.
Yeah, because as soon as I think he disappeared before they even found the body, which is just such a weird case for him to come back, act like nothing was wrong, but he doesn't have the person he was with, won't even talk to anybody. I don't see why they didn't fucking arrest that guy immediately when he was just like going into his parents' house. It's like, something was up. If someone went out, if that was Elizabeth and she didn't come back, I'd be like, this piece of shit was the last one to see her. Like, y'all need to talk to him.
Yep.
And now what I've heard is he's like a survivalist, and he could be like on a $25,000 or not dollar acre lot somewhere, like, roughing it, like probably it's Florida. You could be in the Everglades, or you could be in a.
Well, I just saw a video of Dog the Bounty Hunter wading through. He's like chest deep in water, like wading through some swamp or some shit.
We got to post that picture. We got to get more dog on this podcast.
We need more dogs. But yeah, it says dog tracked the Laundrie family to a campground in Fort DeSoto Park, which was later confirmed by public records that showed Laundrie's mother, Roberta, checking into Site 001 between September 6 and September 8 after Gabby Petito was last seen or heard from. So yeah, dog is on the case, along with, probably tons of more qualified people.
Very more.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't see how a guy just disappears. I mean, unless he is some kind of like Bear Grylls type survivalist, and he's out there and, just really living off the land and just surviving.
And he could die and they won't know, and like maybe even find his body. It could just be like this big mystery. But it's just a sad story because at the end of the day, like, a woman's dead.
Yeah, yeah. And, the parents... He did hit it on the head, they want closure. But yeah, so that's Gabby Petito case. It's still ongoing. So
yeah, we can give like an
updates.
Update.
Yeah, we'll give it. We'll give it on the next episode. And before I move on and I forget, so you watched the Sopranos prequel movie, and what was it called?
The Many Saints of Newark.
Yeah, are you just channeling your inner mobster with the pinky ring?
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, you've got a gold pinky ring on right now.
Yeah. I've had it before. This is a new one because I lost my other one. It's the most boss ring I could possibly wear.
You look like you're channeling, Tony Soprano. You have a second one?
I got you one, dog.
No way.
It's got to go on the pinky, though.
Of course. Oh, I want to.
I'm going to start I'm going to add it to the gift bag. You need a bigger one? I can get you one because that's going to be an extra one then. So that's going to be a part of the gift bag we give out for people. Dude. So we'll have the fanny pack.
Oh man.
A little bottle of whiskey, the MacGruber, and a fucking gold pinky ring.
All right. So let's move on to our second story. Are you a fan of spaghetti?
I am a fan of spaghetti. Yes, I am. I like meat sauce over meatballs though.
Who doesn't like a good spaghetti meal, spaghetti dinner? If you're in Detroit, I have luck for you because Eminem has opened a restaurant called Mom's Spaghetti in Detroit.
What took them so long, man?
That's been sitting there since like 2008.
Yeah, it's been just waiting to be opened.
So, or 2002, excuse me. So this is an article from NPR. It says rapper Eminem's seminal song "Lose Yourself" from the 2002 film 8 Mile has likely inspired many listeners and artists with its urgent and motivating lyrics. And now it has also inspired a pasta restaurant thanks to this memorable line. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's Spaghetti. A new restaurant called Mom's Spaghetti opened in the artist's hometown of Detroit on Wednesday. The concept restaurant is actually the result of a partnership between Eminem's team and a local restaurant group, and it started up as a pop-up shop in 2017. Mom's Spaghetti has made appearances at several Eminem festival performances since and has delivered food to frontline hospital workers and COVID-19 vaccinators in Detroit during the coronavirus pandemic. Paul Rosenberg, Eminem's manager, said in a statement that the response from fans has been overwhelmingly positive, calling the previous pop-ups really a test for us to determine whether there was enthusiasm for a regularly occurring Mom's Spaghetti spot that would be open all year long. Well, duh. It's Eminem in Detroit.
I love that it's in Detroit, too. Like, everything they do, it's like for where they're from. So, keeping it there in Detroit, giving it out, hooking people up like frontline workers and all that. Like, Eminem's just a good guy. He's like an asshole, but he's also such a good person.
and if you're from Detroit, he's your asshole.
Yeah.
So let me
Like,
see.
fuck Kid Rock. Who wants to claim Kid Rock? We got Eminem.
Let me see if I can get this audio to play. If it's not another disaster like the last one.
It's a
Get your
ad for
sweaters
Pizza
ready,
Roll.
Detroit. Mom's Spaghetti is coming to 2131 Woodward Avenue. Want some road pasta after the game?
Got that.
Meatballs?
You know we got that.
What about the Sketty
You need to see
sandwich?
this.
Mom's got that too. Get ready to get some Mom's Spaghetti, Detroit. Opening in the alley next to Union Assembly this September. 313-888-8388. Mom's Spaghetti. It's all ready.
That seemed more like an SNL short
That seems
than an
like
actual commercial.
That seems like it was shot for public access television in the early 90s.
Yeah, on a $0 budget.
It says a local commercial helped get the word out ahead of the restaurant's grand opening on Wednesday evening. The Detroit Free Press reports that many fans camped out all day for a spot in line, which later stretched for blocks. I didn't do that.
I think
I didn't do that on purpose, but that actually worked out. So let me see. You can get your regular spaghetti is $9. If you want to add some meatballs, spaghetti with meatballs, which on the menu it says spaghetti with balls, it's $12.
I gotta see the size of those balls though.
They're probably pretty big.
Big balls.
Big balls.
Well, might be worth it then.
Spaghetti with vegan balls, $14 or $11 for a spaghetti sandwich.
And we saw the spaghetti sandwich, and it looks good. So they have to like probably infuse it with like cheese or something to hold it
So
together.
it's probably 2 pieces. I think I read this in another article. 2 pieces of Texas toast, and they put the spaghetti in, and they kind of press it like a panini.
Yeah.
And then
Looks good.
It looks better than what I thought when I just heard the term.
I pictured like your normal bread. I was like, dude, it's gonna be all soggy and falling apart. Of course, I'm not smart enough to realize like they would press it, but it looked good, man. It looked pretty good.
And then they advertise pop, which we call down here in Texas. Anything is a Coke.
Yeah,
So
that
like
is weird. It's
Mountain
always
Dew,
Coke.
Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, doesn't matter. Can I get you a Coke? Yeah,
Pop
sure.
just
What
sounds like
kind?
something like my grandma said when she was a kid.
It's a very Yankee thing. Pop for $3 or water for $3. So
water's $3.
$3, dog.
Dang, Marshall.
So
And hopefully it's not that much in Flint if they open up a spot. That'd just be, double fuck you to those guys.
all right. So yeah. So if you're ever in Detroit and you want,
When I first saw that, I was like, I'm just so happy that he owns a restaurant, and I saw him like working it. He's hanging out the window, and he looks so serious, like blank face, but he's giving like somebody the middle finger, and I'm like, good for you, Marshall.
dude, it's so good.
And the fact that it's Mom's Spaghetti, like he just, it was perfect. It had to be. So I'm happy for him. Not that he
That's
gives
like
a shit about me.
like how come Jerry Rice didn't come out with Jerry's Rice?
Exactly. Thank you. I've been saying that for years. And it was that's where what's that rice company it's not
Uncle Ben's.
No, it's the one that's in a box that it actually has to like simmer and cook.
Yeah, Pastaroni.
Yeah, it's like a Rice-a-roni.
Rice-a-roni, yeah.
It's a San Francisco based company. I was like, dude, you could have partnered with them and opened Jerry's Rice. You could have ruled the market, man. I would have eaten Jerry's Rice.
All I'm saying is we came up with it, and we're just 2 idiots behind a mic. I don't see how that was missed, but he probably opened a dealership or something like every athlete.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's worth tons of money. He doesn't need us.
All right, so that's it for the junk mail segment, and with that, let's move on to Mount Rushmore. And like I said in the opening, season 23 of Big Brother just ended. The finale. The finale was Sunday?
Yep,
a week ago.
I kept thinking like no
Wednesday.
Yes, it was Wednesday because it was like the day after my mom's birthday.
It was Wednesday.
So I kept thinking tonight. I was like, "Oh, we can watch Big."
No,
we can't.
No, it's sad. So we're gonna give our list of our biggest or best Big Brother villains or assholes.
Everybody, are you ready to talk about Big Brother?
Oh,
adorable!
Thanks, Ellie.
Thank
and
you.
we are ready to talk about Big Brother.
Yeah, we should just say like the reason we first thought of this, and we can go over it, and I guess we can just make this bleed over into like a recap of the.
Yeah.
But this all started with Final Four eviction of Kyland, when he just went like straight below the belt to Xavier, who was basically the one who got him evicted. And just for context, Xavier has a brother who recently died, like in May of
He
this
passed
year.
shortly before he went into the house.
And his brother had a son named Kobe that, named after Kobe Bryant. And so Xavier, without a doubt, it's got to be like a father figure to this kid now. So it's more than a nephew. It's like a son to him. So when he got evicted, when Kylan got evicted, first of all, he was wearing Kylan was wearing a ring of Derek's, and he slipped. I showed you that video. He slipped the ring off and put it in his pocket because he knew he was going home. So he stole a ring that was Derek's that his father gave him, and his father's now dead. So he's like taking a shit on two people there. Stole that guy's ring, and then he gets up and like. It was a tense moment, dude. We'll just. I got to talk about this now because we've been holding it in. He was like, just went straight below belt and was like, what would Kobe do?
He's like, what? He's like, you talk about Kobe, and what does Kobe have to look up to?
Yeah, because at first you're like, well, maybe he's talking about Kobe Bryant. Because what would Kobe Bryant do? He would face a challenge. He would face a challenge head on. But then he said something about like, your nephew's not going to have a role model. He doesn't have a positive influence.
And when he did that,
bro,
X took one step forward. And every time I went back and watched it, like every time he said Kobe's name, he took like a half step.
But he put his hands behind his back too, which was smart.
Another half step forward, and it was super tense. And you could hear it in Julie's voice over the speaker. She was getting. And I was listening to the Winner's Circle, and Cody and Derek were like, it's not like they have
big security guys.
And they do have security, but they're like often like the wings, Cody and I think Cody was like, it would take them a good 30, 45 seconds for them to get to where they are.
And a lot can happen in that time. I think Derek F., though, being the big boy he is, would have separated. He probably could have got in there and really kind of held him down.
That's what he was. I heard an interview.
Yeah, because he bench presses 500 and he probably squats 7.
I don't believe that.
Well,
nobody was.
That's true. He just said he does that. I should say.
And he also said he was he made a lot of big moves. Nobody with bitch tits like that benches 500. Okay,
and no one like that. Like he was just so delusional. But back to Kylan.
Yeah,
it was just like a scum because you said you can talk shit to Big Brother. But when you go personal and you talk about like, if that was me and that was my dead brother, you're talking about my dead brother and the person who I'm now raising as a son, because of that passing, it was just such a low blow. And I heard him say too, like Kylan knew, like, again, I saw this report that like he later said in an interview, he knew that if he got evicted, he already thought like, what can I say to Xavier that would just cut right through him? How do I get to that? That low blow. And he was like, I knew if I brought up his nephew. And it's like, damn,
the fact that that's premeditated.
Yeah, and I was like, I could see like in the heat of a moment, you say some dumb shit. We've all done it. And you're like, you want to take it back. He premeditated. What can I say that's going to just kneecap this guy? And it's going to, because he wanted him probably a reaction like, because if you throw a punch, if you get physical,
you're done.
Out.
You're done.
That's why Xavier was just like, he put his hands behind his back. He stepped up because Xavier knew he won.
Yeah.
He got out the biggest threat. He was sitting next to a couple of schmucks that he could just.
I think the way Kylan played throughout the season, I think he had 2 HOHs. One of them was a disastrous HOH. I still think he had the votes. The way he did Sarah Beth, because Sarah Beth even mentioned in the jury roundtable that she was like, there were a lot of unnecessary lies. And then there was another part, because I discovered Big Brother Reddit, there was another instance in the live feeds, and then they might have shown it, but like Kylan pressured SB to tell him like some personal information that she tried to say, I don't want to talk about it, and he just kept on it. I think it was about her dad, because I think her dad passed or something.
He died of like COVID complications or something.
He kept going and like kept until she finally like relinquished and told him. So I think X would have beaten Kylan.
Yeah, because
anyway.
I thought Sarah Beth was his biggest ally, and when she was even like, the things he's done to me, and I was like, oh shit, like I thought they were like best friends in the house, and turns out she fucking hated him.
Yeah. So, but that confrontation probably birthed one of the greatest lines in Big Brother history, because right at the end, Julie's over the speaker saying, "Kylan, you got to go.
Yeah, she's
Kylan,
getting
you got to
worried.
go."
You can tell.
She's like,
"Kylan, come out right now. Like, you have to leave the house."
And then X, cold as ice, stares him in the eyes and was like, "Julie's waiting on you. Walk." Mm-hmm. And I was,
because they do an exit interview immediately. They walk out, and the fact that he was like, "Yeah, Julie's waiting for you."
Walk.
Just a fucking G move,
dude. He's a deserving champion.
So just to get ahead of ourselves. Xavier won. He won the final HOH. He just killed it, dude. He really took like the page of Derek Levasseur strategy. Won when he had to, stayed low, and then at the end just turned it on.
And I think a lot of people don't give him credit for kind of keeping the cookout not together, but there were times where like Tiffany and Big D didn't get along, And
he was always the calm, level-headed.
and he's like, hey,
Let's keep our eye on the prize.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. He was the glue that kind of kept everybody
he was.
together. If something was going to fracture, he was always there to kind of nurture it and get everybody back on track. So big props to him. I'd love to see him come back. You know, I know we just did an All-Stars, but man,
They'll give it a few years and they'll do an All-Star.
He's up there. I'm not going to say he's on the Mount Rushmore of champions, but he played a great game.
And we should say he beat Derek F 9-0.
Yeah.
It was a clean sweep, which we predicted. We're like, if he takes either one of them, like if he got out Kylan and he took Ozza probably would have got like Brittany's vote.
Yeah.
But I was like, if he takes Derek F, which is a smart thing to do, because Derek's done nothing but nap and give sass to everyone all summer. Even though he's delusional enough to think he was good. Like, did you hear him on Winter Circle?
Yeah.
He really thought like, oh yeah, I thought I had one of the greatest social games of all time. I was like, dude, you were an asshole. Like you would give arguments with people all the time.
No.
So 9-0. It's good to see a clean sweep, and I'm very happy for Xavier and for Kobe. Hell yeah, Kobe.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Kylan. So that's what started this list. I was like, Kylan is such a piece of shit. We should make a list of other pieces of shit.
Yeah. All right.
And I should say, very few other people on this list got as personal as he did. Because you can talk game, you can say everything you want, but as soon as you start talking about somebody's family, and that goes in just life in general.
Yeah.
It's not just Big Brother. You start talking about someone's life or family and getting too personal, that's when shit could get real quick.
And let me get this off my. Let me say this before I forget it, but I've gotten a unique perspective because I was watching other seasons concurrently with this season. It seems like people have the game figured out, and the players are too good now. I think they really need to do a retool or a tweak or rework the format somehow or maybe cast differently, because it seems like back in the day, like season, obviously like 2 and 3, but even like 10, 11, 12, 13, there was a lot more drama. People weren't so worried about, getting killed on the internet. They would go after people. They would be ruthless. And now you've got everybody, I'm not going to ruffle feathers. I don't want to rock the house. And back, it was so much better.
Social media ruined it because now they don't want to be like, I don't want my image to be, tarnished in any way after this, because after this I could get a sponsorship deal or I could be an influencer. So I want to be nice as possible. And it's like, well, then you shouldn't go. You should go on like.
But Price
is Right.
That's where they're in this catch. Kylan was on Price is Right.
I saw that little piece of shit.
But that's where
I like just calling him a piece of shit. I'm just gonna keep calling.
That's where production is kind of in this pickle, is where I think if you don't want influencers and the type of people that lend themselves to being on Big Brother, who have 3 months to basically throw away, are people with higher paying jobs or people with vacation time. Your blue collar workers, your everyday. Like, I know I couldn't go on the show. I couldn't.
I'll hold it down.
I couldn't chance
CBS. I will gladly.
But you know
accept.
what I mean? Like, I think people, more blue collar, normal people can't take that 3 month chance and lose
Especially
their job
and
bills and all that. So you've got to go for a little bit higher. I don't want to say higher class, because that's not like, I guess like higher tier of like employment. People.
Well, and some of those people are young enough. Like, I guarantee you, some of them probably still live with a relative or something.
Derek X does. A lot of them are students.
Yeah, like student aged.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I could see Christian living in a basement.
I think he does live.
Because he's from the Northeast. Not like he's some creepy guy. Although there is this picture of him afterwards, and I made the comment on Reddit because it looks like he is sniffing Alyssa.
It probably is.
That's what everyone said. Like, he probably is sniffing her. Like, yeah, good point.
Probably cut a locket of her hair while she wasn't looking.
It's so creepy.
And then he took all the hair from the season.
Yeah, completed a doll. Exactly. I was like, he took that locket, put it with all the other hairs, and completed the doll.
I would like to see some kind of retool. Like, I know you can't get around alliances. You can't ban alliances, but it seems like if
alliances are good. I like alliances.
Not if they're 8 or 6 people.
Yeah, but how you gonna regulate
exactly?
That?
And they run the house until it's their final.
Especially
6.
what sucks is if it's people you don't like and they're running the house, and I'm like, I fucking can't stand these people, and they're just gonna keep winning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean. It can take over the house, and it can ruin a season.
And if you don't have strong players on the other side, they're just gonna steamroll.
Mm-hmm.
Like on 23, like Cody, Enzo, Nicole, that little that little group they had Christmas, they steamroll, and I just got through triple eviction, so now they're gonna have to start taking shots at each other. But I just think it needs some kind of retool or rework. Maybe change the HOH rules where maybe you have to have maybe for your nominees, maybe you have to have another competition, the nominee competition where the two last people coming in, the two last place people are nominees automatically. So if you don't perform in the comp, you can't rely on, I don't know. I just feel like somebody out there smarter than me that could retool this game and give it some new life. Because the older seasons were a lot more interesting, in my opinion. Oh,
they're definitely getting more and more dull, for sure.
I just think the game players that they're bringing in they know the game, they study the game. I know they try to cast people that don't watch.
Yeah, now they get recruits, which kills me.
Yeah.
So it's people like, you would look good on TV.
Yeah. So
you should watch one season on Paramount Plus and then come be on the show.
And they give them a season to watch because they're sequestered for like 2 weeks in a hotel.
And he said I've watched 2 seasons.
They watched 16. I think they gave him 16, which is, I don't know if it's a good example to give them.
Who won that one?
Derek Levasseur.
Oh, yeah, he killed it. Him and Cody.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into this Mount Rushmore. I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, we should probably be quick because people are going to be like already turning this off. I went with, and I hate the way she spells her name, so I'm just going to give her shit. Aaron, Aaryn. Yeah.
What season was she on?
Grise, 15. She was the one that she was a blonde. She was very racist and very homophobic.
Oh my God!
To the point where they CBS started putting disclaimers up before every episode to just say like CBS does not agree with like the contestants' views and saying how this is this is recorded live 24 hours and just it's bad enough that you're racist, but why are you gonna go on TV and tell everyone you're racist? I guess what I should say is just don't be a fucking racist,
right?
But yeah, she looked terrible. Like coming out of that, like everyone knew how big of a piece of shit she was. So
she was.
That's what I put on there, just because she, it got so bad. I've never seen them have put a disclaimer up.
Okay, I'm looking at her now. I remember.
And she was from like San Marcos.
Yeah,
and she seemed so nice. And then once you get in the house, and it's like, oh my God, listen to what she's saying right now.
That was the one with Amanda
Macranda.
Yep,
it was a good duo.
And Andy won it.
Yeah,
Andy ended up winning.
Andy. Who was like the ultimate wild card, like him and Ian. Like I would have never thought. And then what's his name? Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Steven or Steve.
Steve.
It's like sometimes a quiet little nerd just sneaks up on you, and at the end, but Ian was great.
Ian's smart.
When he cut Dan. After that, I was like, dude, that is the most Dan move you could have made, bro. Like even Dan was like, congratulations, good job. And Will was on that season too, right? Wasn't that Will Boogie was in that season with them?
Yeah,
because they brought back like mentors, so he took down like Will. Boogie, that's one guy. I'm sorry, Mike Boogie. I'm thinking Dr. Will. He took down Boogie and Dan in 1 year. It's like
him and Dan were in the final.
So he beat Dan.
He
took
Dan.
down Boogie and then he beat Dan. It's like, that might be one of the greatest seasons ever.
And I think Brittany. Oh, it was Brittany from 12 and Janelle. Janelle was also in that season.
Janelle's really good.
Yeah.
I told you she would be on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go because I feel like people are going to.
Okay.
Eyes are rolling out of their heads right now.
My first one is Jesse, Mr. Spectacular from season 10 and 11.
Mr. I stand in a mirror and jack off to myself.
Dude, CBS,
he's done that.
CBS milked that cow. Like they brought him back on like 12, 13, 14, 15 to do toast comps or whatever. I'm like, dude, this guy's not that interesting. Like he's a big
somebody at CBS loved him because you're right. They would bring him back for like little guest appearances, and they'd be like, "Cool." There's
his gameplay. His gameplay in 10 sucked. Like he was terrible. He came back on 11 for Redemption. He might have made it to jury.
Wasn't there one season, not 10, but where his like ex-girlfriend was on there, like some blonde girl?
No, I don't remember. Maybe. Anyway, Jesse sucked.
And then she was like, yeah, he's an asshole. I should say Jesse's on my honorable mentions. Let me piggyback off of that. I just put I thought he was a good game player. With the target that he always came in, the way he was able to manage, and he was kind of friendly at times, but I just put major douchebag. So he was just the most narcissistic person I think that's ever been on Big Brother, and that's actually saying a lot. So I had him honorable mention, so I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Okay, what's your second one?
Second one, well, it'll be my third one, because I went Kylan, and then that Aaron. I'm going to go JC from 20. He was the little fella. Can I say that?
That may be. Little person is correct, but little fella, I don't think that counts.
Okay, well, fuck him, because what I said, it's going to make it sound bad. Or he did enough to make himself bad. I just put, I never liked him, and then later he sexually assaulted Tyler. Do you remember this?
What?
They showed it. You might not have saw it on the episode. They found it on the live feeds. He would wait until Tyler fell asleep, because Tyler was a good-looking guy. He's like a surfer.
Of course he is.
You know, he had beautiful head of hair. He would wait till Tyler fell asleep, and he would put his hands in his pants and play with Tyler's balls and dick, and they caught him on the live feeds. He sexually assaulted that guy. He fell asleep, and he would put his hands in his pants and like play with that guy's junk.
How did Tyler not wake up?
Yeah, and then when they found out and like people like told him, like they never did anything to JC. They let him stay on the season. I was like, imagine if a woman was asleep and, you know, like somebody was like playing with her down there. It'd be like, bro, you got to get the fuck out of here. I was like, why is it okay for JC to do that to Tyler when in no situation should that be okay?
And then on season 22 in the premiere, like they had a bunch of like, because it was the 20th anniversary, they had like a bunch of alums back. Like Josh was there and JC was there too. It's crazy they brought him back.
Dude, I'm telling you, like it was on the live feeds when people
Les
discovered it.
Moonves probably approved that.
Oh, fuck you, Les Moonves.
All right, my second one was Vanessa Russo from season 17.
See, I like
she
Vanessa.
was just played the fucking victim. She would cry, yeah, and this was more of just an annoyance. Like she was a good game player.
Dude, that could have been her strategy though, because
Dude,
she did kill it.
Everything was her fault, or you know, just woe is me. Like just shut the fuck up. Play the game. Just shut up. I'll go ahead and give my third one so I can catch up to you. Mine's Josh from season 19. He ended up winning. I had to put up with him all season.
Yeah, he was so annoying.
Getting
The pans out,
yeah,
just
he would
slapping them around.
Slap pans.
I can't believe. I told you, people just didn't like Paul. Paul deserved to win that season.
Yep.
Did you watch both seasons with Paul?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
he got runner-up twice. That's why I'm like, Paul got railroaded. And
should have been an All-Stars.
I didn't want to tell you because I re-listened to an episode of ours when you were like, "What are your thoughts on Paul?" And I'm like, he should have fucking won twice. To be honest, he definitely should have beat Josh. I think people just didn't like Paul, and they were like, "Fuck it." Let's take
But how did they like Josh?
I don't know.
Josh is the type of dude that will push a dude to get in your face to the point of hitting him and be like, "Do you know who my dad is?"
Yeah, my uncle's an attorney or something.
Or
like
he'll wait, he'll talk shit and then run behind his boys. Like Mark should have smashed that dude, and because Mark, you're not winning. You've
Is that
got
that big meathead?
You've got creatine for brains, dude. Like you're not winning. Go ahead and just make it worth your while and just knock the shit out of
pop
this
his
dude.
head like a grape. Mark was a big guy.
So yeah, Josh
was so annoying.
He
I
would
agree.
cry all the fucking time. Like, dude, get your fucking shit together. Like,
One thing I like though, I like that I got from him is calling people meatballs.
meatballs, yeah.
It's like, you dumb meatball.
You meatball.
I'll randomly call Claire like a dumb meatball if she does something. She gets the reference.
All right, give us your last one.
Last one, it's got to be on here. You just haven't seen him yet, but it's Evil Dick. I mean, his name is Evil Dick.
Yeah, I know he
was just
won.
Overly like rude to everyone. It's like he didn't give a shit. He literally would. Well, I shouldn't say literally because he didn't do this, but he would be the kind of guy that would just walk into a room with like middle fingers up and be like, "All right, assholes, which like you heard that Larry Bird line? All right, which one of y'all's getting second place?"
Yeah.
It's like I love that line. That's something Evil Dick would do, and he just knew he was mean. He just embraced his meanness, and he fucking won, man.
Well, karma
He had
caught
that
him. He got
season with his
HIV.
daughter. Damn. He wasn't that big. He wasn't out here like hurting people. He wasn't fondling balls like JC or getting personal like Kyland.
Well,
He just understood, like, I think this is how you play. And like you said, people need a new way to play. Evil Dick, like, played it his way. And
yeah, I'm going to go back and watch that season.
How can you be so rude to everyone? Because you can't win back-to-back HOHs. That's why you can't just run the house all summer.
Yeah.
You know, if you win one week, you have to sit out the next week. So you can win every other, but he ran the house, dude, and he fucking won, and everyone hated him. His dog. Oh shit, I shouldn't say anything. But yeah, he was a good player. And then I have a few honorable mentions. I had Jackson, Mickey, that we both talked about.
Yeah,
he won,
Mickey's my last one.
and he's kind of like Evil Dick. Like he knew, and Cody that we've talked about. They're just assholes, and they weren't going to change. So they just came in and were assholes, and they won. Good for them,
dude. My deal with Mickey was he did the whole "my word is my bond" thing, and then turn around and like go against his word. But the second anybody did it to him, he was all up in arms.
Yeah. I hate that too.
You can't serve it you can't dish it out if you can't take it.
Right.
And then like he was just like like Mean Girls, like you know, the term the mean girls.
Oh,
he was like jock, like popular, like mean dude. Like it's common practice. Like there's one bathroom in the house, you know, for all, you know, could be 16 people at, you know, depending on where you're at in the game. And it's common practice for people to go up and use the HOH bathroom. Mm-hmm. Well, somebody was up there and he was like, all right, dude, wrap it up. Time to go. He's like, all right, I'm just washing my hands. He's like, all right, time to go. I'm like, oh my God, you're such an asshole.
I remember hearing too, because on they have have-nots for people who don't know, and when you're a have-not, like you can't take warm showers. You have this most awkward room that's like uncomfortable and, you know, almost impossible to sleep in, and you have to eat something that's called slop that looks like oatmeal, but I'm told is not nearly as delicious as oatmeal. And they said every time he was on slop or on a have-not, he wouldn't, you know, go by the rules at all. He would never eat slop. He would just eat whatever food he wanted, purposely breaking these rules. And they're like, producers never did anything.
Usually they
drives me wild.
If they're on the block, they usually get like a vote against them, because I've seen that happen to Cody. Was his name Cody, the psychopath?
Yeah, the cool guy with Asperger's.
He's not cool.
He's pretty cool.
Psycho. But yeah, he got a point. He got a penalty vote taken for him because he was a have-not and was just eating whatever.
Yeah. Well, Mickey did the same thing, but I always heard nothing happened to him.
Yeah.
I had two more if you were done.
I'm done. I've got honorable mentions, but
finish yours. Honorable mention.
Mine,
that's what I'm doing too.
And this one's just, he's a great player. Will from season 2.
Dr. Will.
He's the first winner of kind of the modern, you know, the big brother that we know today.
You could put in Boogie too and just make it Chilltown.
Yeah, Chilltown.
They were just the greatest alliance.
They were just like high school, you know, like that high school clique. But he's a great player. And then Russell from season 11, he was the hothead.
Russell's a douche.
His brother was on Survivor. He headbutted Chef Joe, which, I mean, I don't know why you would.
Hey, immediately, okay, well, you can go home now.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do to you.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to get in this big fight and everyone's, oh, man, you're so cool. Hey, why don't you be HOH this week? It's like, you dumbass, you're going home now.
So, yeah, the production pulled him off and sent him home immediately. And then my last one is Paulie, which is Cody Calafieri's brother from season 18.
A douche.
He's just a douchebag. A huge douchebag.
Yeah.
And then there was allegations of him being racist and sexist and all this stuff after he left. But I was actually rooting for Paulie just because of that Cody connection. But I'm like, did you not? You have?
Yeah, because I like Cody, his brother.
You had a roadmap. Did you not listen to anything your brother told you coming into the house? Anyway.
My last two, I had I can't remember the season he's from. Maybe you've seen it now. It's like Josiah.
The dude who was a, what do you call it, Messiah?
He's the self-proclaimed Messiah.
A Big Brother Messiah.
And he was evicted in week 2.
Yeah.
He was the second one out.
Yeah.
He just came in and was just so full of himself, and I couldn't stand it.
I love those dudes because they never last.
Oh, exactly.
They never last.
You want to come in and be the big guy and, you know, talk tough. It's like, okay, well.
I think it was season 21.
Yeah, it was
Swaggy C.
Swaggy.
Remember?
Such a douche. Yeah, and he had T-shirts with his own fucking nickname on it.
And then he brought merch for everybody else because everybody else was wearing his shit too.
And then he got evicted pretty soon because he didn't even make it to jury.
No.
But what did he do? Proposed to a girl that he knew for about 20 days.
They're
he
still
proposed
together.
To Bailey.
They're actually about to move to Dallas.
Cringy.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Last one, Derek F. I just put he's the worst runner-up ever.
Worst.
Nothing but naps and sass, but claims he carries players.
Okay.
His speech to the jury, and he was trying to make his argument. They were laughing at him when he was trying to say I did this and did that, and they couldn't control him. No. They laughed at him. I was like, that's what you get, man. You did nothing but sleep and give sass.
But he knew he was cooked, because he got
$75,000. Fuck it.
After they evict somebody, they always go back to the house and the mics are still hot. When they evicted Ozza, he was like, all right, dude, just give me my $75K. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
he knew.
$75,000 to just basically have a 3-month vacation. It's not bad.
All right, so that was our Mount Rushmore. Sorry for all you non-Big Brother guys.
Dude, that probably went for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to skip from about maybe the 30.
You're telling them now, you dork. They just suffered through it. They can't do.
I'll put it in the description. Just if you don't want to hear about Big Brother, just skip minute 35 to minute 59.
God, it was nearly 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, good news though. No more Big Brother.
It's over.
Until Celebrity Big Brother this February. And then we got more summer coming up. So maybe we'll just do a separate Big Brother podcast.
Maybe.
That might be like our Achilles heel where people are like, I can't stand when they talk Big Brother.
All right.
So we could just talk for about another hour at least.
Let's do Pick Your Poison. I'm going to let you go.
You gave me the wrong cup.
Oh, was that movies?
Yeah. My pinky ring clinking.
All right, Tony Montana.
Tony Montana? Who the fuck is that?
Isn't that dude from Scarface?
Tony Montana? You said Montana. Would you rather know all the mysteries of the universe or know every outcome of every choice you make?
Do conspiracy theories count as mysteries?
Of course.
Okay, then give me that one.
All the mysteries of the universe?
Yep. I want to know JFK. I want to know 9/11, chemtrails, aliens. Give it all to me.
I can tell you about that, man.
I know.
We'll talk afterwards.
I know you can.
I think I want to know every outcome to every choice I make. So then I would know if it was a good choice or not. Like, hey, should I put X amount of money on this game? Am I gonna win? Yes. Okay, cool. I'm gonna use that for the right. You're just gonna like fill your head with all these terrible truths, and you're gonna like mine's gonna explode.
I'm gonna end up like Ted Kaczynski in a cabin.
Exactly. You're gonna be a cabin writing a manifesto. Which shut up. We both have that copy.
Yeah. Disregard that FBI if you're listening.
Yeah, they're probably like, this guy just buys Ted Kaczynski books and pinky rings off eBay. Like, what the fuck? Buy the most random stuff.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, I'm going to know the outcome of every decision I make, so I know if it's a good decision or not.
Okay. All right. That was a good one. We'll stick with one this week. And with that, let's move on to our movie review segment. We watched Ace Ventura. Yep. 1994. Did you have some fun facts for me?
I do. Just real quick, 49% Rotten Tomatoes. It was a $15 million budget, and it made 107.2. So that's really good. Jim Carrey was credited for one of the screenwriters. I don't know if you saw that. This was a good one. This was notable people who they were thinking about playing this, because Jim Carrey, like you said, was very young. I think he was on In Living Color at the time.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like,
super
a big
young
breakout star yet. They actually offered the movie first to Rick Moranis from like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
If anyone, now you'll probably get that, and like Spaceballs. He declined it. Then they considered Judd Nelson and Alan Rickman, which I can't see either one of them doing it. But they never offered it to him. They just considered that. And then they were thinking about changing Ace to a woman, and they were going to cast Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, my goodness.
So think how terrible this film could have been. Luckily, it was saved by Ace Ventura, because now we know he's just on another level with like his energy and his
physical acting.
Yeah, his physical acting, his impersonations, and just the way he'll just like put himself out there.
His faces, like the way he contorts
no one else
face.
can do that, and I couldn't see Whoopi Goldberg talking with her butt at a police station.
No.
It's like only Jim. That's why I think I put on here somewhere, like only Jim Carrey could have played this character.
All right, so let's get into it. The first scene, we get Ace going undercover as the UPS driver, and he's carrying a package, and he gives no fucks about this package.
I love how it's like taped up, fragile, and he's just like kicking shit out of it.
He gets in the elevator, and the elevator door smashes it like 3 or 4 times.
Takes about 4 times, and he goes, oh, sorry, pulls it back. Lines up a field goal in the hallway.
Yeah, yeah. The next thing I wrote down is I forgot what a great physical actor he is, because it's displayed throughout the whole movie, but we already touched on it. The faces, just the physicality.
Yeah. Who after watching these movies didn't like try to do a Jim Carrey impersonation in the mirror?
And there's so many quotable lines. I think I
got them right here too.
Lines that I use to this day.
Tell me what you got if you wrote them down.
I didn't write them down.
Too.
Lehu Zaher,
yeah,
like a glove. Anytime I find like a good parking spot,
you gotta say it.
So,
alrighty then.
Yep.
I liked it when I take a big deuce in the bathroom and I'll open the door. Do not go in there. And Claire's like, okay. Really? Yeah, these are things like we just said growing up now.
All right, so Ace, he's undercover. He's got a package. So I guess he's going to rescue a lost dog.
Mm-hmm.
After he delivers the package, he steals the dog and replaces it with the stuffed animal.
Do you know who that guy was though? That's Randall Tex Cobb. He was a boxer in like
Really?
the 70s and 80s. He's known for having one of, if not the greatest chin, which doesn't mean like he had a good-looking chin. It means he could just take a punch all day. They said he was never much of a brawler. He would just outlast them because he could take so many punches.
Is it like that Simpsons episode
Yeah, exactly.
where Homer?
It's exactly what it is. They would just like get tired. He'd wear him down, and then finally like he would get some shots in. But he had a shot like at the title, I think. And
Wow.
I looked it up because he was also in Raising Arizona. He was like the bad guy, that was trying to get the baby on the motorcycle. So I knew exactly who that was, and I knew he was a boxer, but I didn't know he was known for having one of the greatest chins.
Okay, no, I didn't know that.
And he's just a terrible looking man. He just looks so scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was where he gets the dog, does the old switcheroo.
So the owner realizes it. He ends up finding Ace, and he's just beating the shit out of his car with his baseball bat.
He's just having a good time too. He's like making jokes.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you validate my parking?"
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
He's like, "Are you hungry, little fella?" And he pulls out the ashtray. It's got kibble in there.
Yeah, because the car's like flooded the engine or something, so he's trying to get it started while this guy's just destroying his car.
And if people don't know, cars used to be carbureted. So if you press the gas and you flooded the carburetor with gasoline, it wouldn't start. Let me remember my notes. So yeah, the owner ends up finding Ace, and he's beating the shit out of his car. He hops on the back. There's this chase scene where he's hanging onto the back. He eventually gets rid of the guy. He gets away. Ace returns the dog to its owner, and he gets rewarded with a blowjob from Tits McGee.
Jesus, I can't believe it's like on a roller coaster too,
dude. And he's like hanging on to like the door frame.
So that was my reference of like, so what's going on? My young mind, I'm like, I guess he's having fun though, right?
Yeah.
I was like, is that how it happens?
Something's going right for him. Next, we go to Dolphin Stadium, and we see Snowflake the Dolphin. That's the Miami Dolphins mascot being stolen. We find out that Ace is behind on rent. He's showing up to his apartment, bags and bags of animal food, and he runs into his landlord, and his landlord's like, "Hey, you're behind on your rent." And he's like, "You're not supposed to have any pets."
He says he has all that food for protein.
Yeah, he's like, "What's all this pet food for?" He's like, "Fiber."
They're fiber, yeah.
So he gets he tells me he's on a case of a rare albino pigeon that has a $25,000 reward. As soon as he finds that pigeon, he's gonna get his money. He's gonna get his rent.
Yep.
And then we get our first look at a very young Courtney Cox, and she's getting ripped a new one from, I'm guessing, the team owner for getting Snowflake being stolen.
I was about to do like a Harvey Weinstein joke there or something, but
let's not.
Let's
not. And then the owner's ripping into her and her I guess her right hand man Roger. The week, 2 weeks before Super Bowl.
And back to where you said a long time ago, I think it was Angels in the Outfield, the owner, he seemed like a Texas oil man.
Right.
Like, you're right. Every sports owner that was portrayed like in movies at that point was like an old Texas oil man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw that. I was like, yeah, Matt's fucking right. Look at that guy.
Yeah. The receptionist tells them that she hired a pet detective when she lost her dog. Mm-hmm. And so in the next scene... Highly recommends. In the next scene, we see Ace almost catch the pigeon and fall off the roof. And then we see next we're back at the stadium. We see Ace meeting with Melissa, who's played by Courtney Cox, and getting the details on Snowflake's kidnapping. And we get a Dan Marino sighting.
Yeah. Dan Marino did a good job in this movie.
Yeah, he did. So Ace is in the tank. He's inspecting the tank, and he's looking for clues, and he finds a diamond or a jewel in the pump filter. So that's kind of the first lead he gets on the Snowflake case. And then after that, he heads to the police station, and he's just getting heckled by the other officers.
But he had such a great burn because there's like a roach walking by, and the cop's like the generic like overweight, just like asshole cop,
Mm-hmm.
and this roach is walking by, and he steps on it, and he's like, "Oh look, a murder case or something," and he's like, he wanted him to like solve the case or something. He's like, well, Ace is like, well, I'd have to think that the motive would be the perpetrator got to look at the roach's dick and became insanely jealous, which I thought was like, man, that's great that they put this in like this movie that I saw as a child. Yeah, just a great burn on this cop. And then he like forcibly like grabs the cop, which you couldn't do. He like grabs the cop and like shoves his face in the ground.
Right, like an inch.
Yeah, an inch away from the roach, but it's like he has his arm behind his back, and I was like, pretty sure you're assaulting a cop right now in a police station. But
And Ace, as far as I know, isn't a police officer in any capacity.
no, not at all.
Yeah. So, and then the next note I have is Tone Loc in the house.
Hell yeah, I put pretty much the same thing. I like Tone Loc all in caps.
And then we get, for me, one of the most memorable or famous scenes in the entire movie.
Oh,
and that's the one where
cinema history. What are you
Ace
talking about?
is talking with his ass.
With all these puns, I need to ask you a question. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, we get it. You're talking out of your butt.
Yeah. So, and then while Ace is talking out of his ass, we see Einhorn for the first time.
That's a great name too, Lois Einhorn.
Yeah.
Sounds like a hard bitch.
Yeah. So,
Is it weird that like even knowing what I know now, I still look at her and I'm like, dude, Lois looks pretty good.
yeah, but she wasn't really that's not really a dude.
No, it's not.
She-
But I'm just saying, even though I know like what's coming later, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd fuck Lois.
Still hit it. Still hit it. So her and Ace have this little interaction. She basically tells Ace to hit the road. And
He had another line too. It's like, I'll give you a call sometime. Is your number still 911? Alrighty then. I was like, dude, Ace is just zinging everyone in this scene.
so the next scene, we're at some kind of warehouse, like metal show.
Dude, you know
and
who that was?
Fun fact, yes, it's
That was
Cannibal Corpse.
Hell yeah. That was a heavy show.
Dude, it blew my mind as I wrote it, which is crazy to me that they were around back then. Like,
they've been around for like 30 years.
Cannibal
already.
Corpse
They've been
was
around since like
playing-
the 80s.
yeah, dude, it's nuts.
If you've ever heard some Cannibal Corpse songs, you were like, I would never guess that they would make a movie, like a cameo in like a
Right.
movie with Jim Carrey.
Right. Like a big Hollywood production.
Yeah, like a legit Hollywood movie. Like Cannibal Corpse is brutal.
And then one of the next another good line is he's knocking on the door and he's like, "What's the password?" He's like, "New England clam chowder." He's like, "Is that the red or the white?" He's like, "Oh, I never remember this." He's like, "White?" Yes. And the door unlocks. He's like, "Yes."
Eating Woodstock.
Yeah, so he goes to meet Woodstock and for pumping for some info, and Ace finds out that Roger Camp, who's a billionaire with a rare fish collector, purchased some really big equipment that a civilian, as he put it,
Yeah, highly suspicious.
wouldn't need. And so Ace and Melissa head to the party, and they find out Camp's having a party or get together. So him and Melissa head to Camp's house to investigate. And I wrote so many little lines and details that I missed when I was younger that are just so hilarious. So Ace starts snooping around, and he finds a tank that's big enough to hold a dolphin, but in fact, I guess there's a great white shark in
It's
there.
got to be a great white. It's like the one from Jaws
Yeah.
comes at him. Because he's like, come on, Snowflake. He's got a little fish
He's-
there.
yeah.
Just thinking a cute little dolphin's going to pop up.
And this
It's
monster.
a fucking man-eater.
So Ace falls in the tank. He gets drug around by the shark and comes out of the bathroom all wet, missing half his clothes. And he delivers the line that you use.
That I use every time I drop a stinky poop in the house.
And then he's got like a pocket full of water, and he squirts water out of his pocket. It's those type of things that I didn't catch as a child.
No, it was fun to rewatch for sure.
Oh, it was a great one to rewatch. On their way out, Ace notices that Camp was wearing a ring, and he like grabs his arm.
Yeah, and you guys say this guy walks with like a cane and a
Yeah,
limp, and Ace
And
is
he's a
like
billionaire.
manhandling him to like look at this ring.
He's checking to see if he's missing a stone, and then they go back to Melissa's office, and Ace explains to Melissa that they're looking for a 1984 AFC Championship ring with a missing stone.
Yeah, he figured that out real quick, which
Yeah.
makes you think like he does have like detective qualities.
yeah.
Because he knew specifically, he's looking through and he's like, well, I'm looking for a 1984 AFC Championship ring.
Because it's an orange stone.
Yeah, because it's missing this one stone that he found in the tank.
And then we get a montage of Ace like checking the rings of former players and coaches.
Dude,
We get a Don Shula sighting.
Don Shula. Every movie we watch, I think, has a montage, which I just love it.
That was a very 90s thing.
It really was. Yeah, you're right.
It was a very 90s thing. One guy, he pops in the shower with the towel and he just leans his head in
because he knows he's about to just
get hit.
Yeah.
He imprints the ring on his forehead and he goes in the mirror and he's counting the stones.
Yeah.
Another guy, he's trying to get a look on the track and the guy's running around the track and the guy just outruns him, and then a few moments later you just see him douse a rag in chloroform, like just take him down, count the ring. Don Shula went to go drop some mail in a slot and he's hiding in the mailbox and he grabs his hand.
He's got one of those like what's it called?
He's got like a monocle, like
with a flashlight. He looks so crazy in there. I love it. And then the one guy in the bathroom, he's trying to. So the guy's holding his dick peeing, and Ace is peering over. The guy notices and he kind of gives him like a head nod back and a wink. And Ace is like, "All right, let me just get out of here."
And the guy follows him out.
Ace is like, "All right, I'm gonna bail on this one."
So Ace is on the trail. He's trying to find.
He's really putting in the work.
He's putting in the work. And then the next scene, we found out that Roger has quote unquote committed suicide.
Yeah, I said, man, shit got real all of a sudden
by jumping off his 20th story balcony.
I love when they pull up to like a murder scene or something, and you hear like that saxophone music followed by the guitar. It's like, oh, that's when you know somebody just died in like an 80s and 90s.
So
movie.
they were zipping him up, right? And he looked like totally normal. If he fell from 20 stories,
there'd be nothing but blood.
It would
guts.
be just goo, like nothing. But he was apparently fine.
I
no
guess
head
he's
trauma.
Not a real method actor then.
No head trauma.
Jeez, Daniel Day-Lewis would have killed himself.
Yeah, he would have died. So Ace goes up to the scene and he makes this case that Roger was murdered and not and didn't commit suicide. And he does another great scene.
Yeah,
the sliding glass door.
How do you not walk past a sliding glass door and do that scene?
I used to do it all the time.
I did it like 3 weeks ago when my sister's new house before we even knew we were doing this.
So yeah, he's saying, hey, there's no way the scream could have come.
Yeah, she heard. Oh, you're
outside because the neighbor had heard a scream. And he's saying there's no way that scream could have come from inside.
Yeah, because the guy who came to the house had to open the door.
Yeah.
And I was like, you wouldn't be able to hear that
and
scream.
He's screaming. And
it's true, man. Like,
he's opening it and you can hear the
detective.
scream and he closes it and you can't hear him. He's like, that's double pane, soundproof glass.
Ace knows his shit.
Yeah. And then after that, Ace learns about Ray Finkel because he sees
that picture.
He's in Melissa's office and he's like, "Who is that?"
He goes, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, your photo is beginning of the season. Ray Finkel wasn't added until mid-season." And then
I just put after that he immediately bangs Courtney Cox.
Yeah, and I said he bangs Courtney Cox with all of her animals watching, which. Probably isn't a big deal for Ace, but it'd be weird for me.
I was watching that part with Claire, too, and we're watching the bed, and I'm like, that's another thing you think growing up in movies. Like, you would think every time you had sex, you damn near break the bed. Like, it's just, that bed was swinging like 8 to 10 inches off, the wall, and then back and slapping it. And I'm like, were they just like on stilts when they had sex on this bed?
No, mine never lasts long enough to break any beds. It's over.
I've never broke a bed, but I'll take her to Pound Town. Love you, Claire. But we ain't breaking beds. It's a sturdy frame. Every time though in movies, you would see like the bed's about to fucking fall apart. Like Ray Charles built it from IKEA.
So that's a good line. So Ace learns about Ray Finkel and he's on the search. He's looking for Ray Finkel, and Ace shows up at his parents' house, and he gets met with a shotgun to the face.
Well, it's just like covered in, covered in hateful graffiti.
Yeah, it looks like abandoned.
We're about to find out why. So, yeah, like you said, it's like not a warm welcome, gun to the face.
Yeah, so he eventually gets in, and the mom is out to lunch.
Mom's fucking crazy.
So he quickly learns that Ray is crazy, and so is his mom. So turns out that Ray Finkel had missed a kick in the Super Bowl to lose the Super Bowl. And he blames it all on Dan Marino. And because the laces, Dan Marino held the ball with the laces in. Mm-hmm. As a former kicker, I will tell you that does.
Yeah, I've always heard that makes a difference.
That does make a difference because you never want to strike the laces. You want to strike the clean part of the ball. But yeah, so he goes up to his room and he finds a death shrine.
You missed the best line that the mom gave.
What?
After she talks about that, this quote: "Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell." And she's holding like, "You want a cookie?"
They're football shaped.
Yeah, they're goes, "Look at that, they're little footballs."
And then she's like, "Laces out."
I just love the die of gonorrhea and rot in hell.
So yeah, so we get he goes up to his room.
Death
It's
shrine.
a death shrine.
Oh my god.
So he leaves, and Ace tries to warn Melissa that Dan Marino is in danger and is about to join Snowflake. And turns out Dan Marino is shooting an isotoners commercial, which that is so 90s. Like back in the day, like all your big athletes, all your big football players were sponsored by Isotoner. Like O.J. Simpson had
What was that?
Isotoners are like gloves, like leather, like gloves.
You telling me OJ was sponsored by gloves?
Yes.
And they fit, so he couldn't get a quit.
Let me double check, but yeah, I'm pretty sure
That is
OJ,
just beautiful. If he was, that's like sponsoring like butcher knives too, and like
O.J.
lime
Simpson,
and
Isotoner.
zip ties. Damn, OJ.
Yeah, he was. He had a commercial and everything.
No, I can't see the
Isotoners.
computer. You could just slap
Boy,
a bunch
it's
of
great to be on
things.
vacation.
Bruh.
We never go on vacation without Hertz. I wouldn't risk my vacation with an
That's a
unreliable
Hertz.
rental car company.
So that's my fault. That's my fault.
Okay, but I believe you. You're a trustworthy guy. I believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was in one in '94.
Wow, the year he didn't kill Nicole Brown Simpson.
Right. Okay. So Dan Marino is shooting an isotoners commercial and gets kidnapped. Ace runs. So Ace shows up right before or right after he gets kidnapped, and he's on the chase trying to catch these guys that have got Dan Marino. And I said Ace runs over 2 police officers while in pursuit of Dan Marino, which has got to be a felony of some sort. And then he shows up at the police station and he confronts Einhorn about his Ray Finkel theory.
Mm-hmm.
And Einhorn goes in for a kiss, and Ace says, "Your gun is digging into my hip," which you hadn't put the pieces together yet. But Ray Finkel, that's not a gun that he's got there. And then Ace goes undercover in the Shady Acres Mental Hospital, the same place that Ray Finkel escaped from, because we learned at his house that Ray Finkel was in a mental institute from all of the trauma that he suffered, after missing the kick. And he escaped. So Ace goes undercover, and I said this is one of the funniest scenes in the entire movie, like where he's playing the character of her brother, and they're trying to commit him.
Too many football hits to the head.
Yeah, and he does like the slow motion play where he's like
and then goes in reverse.
And he goes in reverse.
I like the
just,
reverse.
Just the whole bit was so funny.
That's what I was saying. Only
Jim Carrey
could play that part. Yeah.
He sneaks his way into a storage room and finds Finkel's belongings because they learned that he'd left some stuff there. And he makes a connection that Einhorn is Finkel and Finkel is Einhorn. Mm-hmm. And then the next scene is another funny one where he makes the connection. He's in the shower and he's just like plunging his face. He's throwing up. He sets his clothes on fire and he's just in the shower. And he's got it's got the song "The Crying Game" playing in the background. He's just crying in the shower, letting the water run all over him.
And then the next scene, isn't he got 30 pieces
dude,
of gum
he's got the biggest wad of gum ever. And then so Ace follows Einhorn / Finkel to a stereotypical warehouse where Marino is being held.
That's where every bad guy would help his hostages.
Yeah, so Ace sneaks around. There's 2 henchmen guarding him. He's tied to a sled, like a blocking sled, and the henchmen are taking turns like hitting him while he's tied up. But Ace inevitably takes out both the henchmen, and then he gets into a fight with Einhorn / Finkel, and they kind of whoop his ass pretty good. And Ace tries, by then back up. She's already called it in that, hey, I've found Dan Marino, the suspect's Ace Ventura. So the entire department comes down. And Ace is trying to convince everyone that Einhorn is a man, and he strips her down. He's like, first he starts with the wig.
Yeah.
And he's like,
that thing's really on there.
He's like, that thing's really on there. And he's like, well, be kind of hard to hide these, and he strips off her shirt, and he's like
you can get that done in a weekend.
That's a surgery that can be done over a weekend.
I should say, great boobs on Ray Finkel.
Yeah, great boobs. Great boobs.
Way to go, Ray.
And then
Dan's the one that notices it. So Dan's like, Ace, come here.
And then he strips off her skirt, and he's like, there's nothing there. And then Dan calls him over, and he's like, hey, check out the back.
Yeah, because she's hiding a fucking hog back there.
And she's like, either he's got a penis or he has the worst case to hemorrhoids ever. And he spins around.
And you see it like he turns around. And you see the impression. It's
Dude,
like just big, meaty
just
cock.
Cock and balls just all stuffed in the back. He's got the ultimate fruit basket going on.
To tuck it that far back to where it like curls up to your butt crack. I was like, dude, Finkel is packing.
Yeah. So he saves the day. Ace saves the day, rescues Snowflake. Dan Marino returns at halftime.
I was going to say, did you mention how they're at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
You know, they're playing the fucking Eagles.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's a made-up movie.
Yeah. But I did put here at the end, he beat the shit out of the Philadelphia Eagles mascot.
Well, I think that was
which
almost
may have
like
been the best part.
to like Philly, to where it's like only Philly would like mascot would get in a fight with this guy, and so they're thanking like the PA announcements, like thanking Ace for saving the day,
And he's just beating the shit.
At this point he's laying on top of the mascot while the mascot guy's on his back on the ground, and he's just like hammering him back. Yeah, they're like, special thanks to Ace Ventura, and he just stops and looks up and waves.
Yep.
That was it, man.
That was
Ace
it.
Ventura, Pet Detective. What are you doing?
Oh.
Pick two?
Yep, let me pick two real quick. All right.
What are you doing? You calling that piece of shit?
Yeah, I'm going to text Ryan.
Jesus. Make a mess, why don't you?
Well, I wanted to get in deep.
That's what she said.
Yeah. We at the Con House like to experiment.
Casino.
Finally, a movie you haven't seen.
A movie I haven't seen.
That's a really serious movie. We're going to go from Ace Ventura to Casino. You only got one?
I
Jesus.
only got one.
Fucking sausage hands over here.
So why are you so mean?
I had a feeling right when I said that, I go, I think he thinks that was too far. He's going to say I'm mean.
Casino or Dumb and Dumber.
That's such a weird
Such.
Okay, man.
All right,
I know
so
one's really good and the other one's like really silly but also good. So yeah.
so I'm gonna put those up on our Instagram. We're gonna put a poll up. Please vote and help us decide which one we're gonna
Just polar opposite.
we're gonna review in 2 months or whenever we get to another episode. All right, so let's get into some sports. Do you have the baseball playoffs brackets? The regular season is over.
Yep.
Rangers lost 102 games or something like that.
Or was it 60 and 102 or 62 and 100? I can't remember. Brady, get back with us.
Yeah, Brady,
text
us.
Text us right now. Yeah, so I'll just tell you the winners first and then the bracket, because we're just going to go over baseball real quick. It was the American League East was won by Tampa Bay with 100 wins, 62 losses. The Central was Chicago White Sox, 93 and 69. The West was Houston. Give the fart sound for Houston.
I hope this is it.
Your moment's over, dude.
Bruh.
Okay. All right, there we go. Houston with a record of 95 and 67. That means our two wild cards were the Yankees and the Red Sox, both 92 and 70. So first round is going to be New York Yankees versus Boston Red Sox, which is a fantastic first round matchup. The winner will face Tampa Bay. And then Chicago plays Houston in the first round. So not that many, baseball's a smaller round playoffs. In the National League, the East, Braves won it 88-73. Central, Brewers 95 and 67. The West, which is a great stacked division, the Giants win it with 107 wins and 55 losses. The two wild card teams, this is where you feel bad for the Dodgers. Dodgers won 106 games, and they're the wild card team. The Cardinals, who went on like a 17-game winning streak or something close to that to almost end the season, managed to get into the playoffs with a record of 90 and 72. So we will have Los Angeles Dodgers play the St. Louis Cardinals. Winner advances to play San Francisco. And then we have Atlanta Braves against Milwaukee Brewers. And I'll just say it. I think the Tampa Bay Rays are going to beat the San Francisco Giants for the championship.
I
like
good
Tampa.
pick.
I like Tampa Bay. I do.
Good pick.
I couldn't tell you three guys on their team, but
Nobody ever.
exactly.
People in Tampa can't.
Yeah,
So
people in Tampa truly can. They don't give a shit about that team.
I'm gonna go.
Even though now apparently it's the City of Champions.
I'm gonna go. Shit, Brady might kill me. I'm gonna go Yankees Dodgers.
Oh,
Yankees Dodgers.
Major
MLB
League,
will come all over
I was
themselves
gonna say
for
they
that.
would love that outcome. Are you kidding me? They would be jizzing their pants as soon as that was a possibility. So that's baseball.
So that's baseball.
You want to go over real quick last week's game against the Philadelphia Eagles? Fart sound. There we go.
Yep.
Well, we won 41-21 because we're the superior team at franchise,
And
city, and state, and I shouldn't say state. Texas kind of sucks right now. But it was, let me see. Yep, good radio. I'll go to the very end because I just had these stats. First downs, we had 27 to their 12, 9 pass breakups to their 2. We were 6 of 12 on third down. They were 4 and 12. Time of possession, 34 minutes and 58 seconds for us to their 25:02. I got here. Dak is 11-1 in his last 12 games versus NFC East teams. At that point, we had 8 takeaways, which led the NFL. We got 2 more today. They said we didn't have our 8th takeaway until week 11 of last year, which
That's
to me
insane.
it's Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
I mean, Diggs has improved greatly, but this is his second year, so he was here before Quinn. I think Quinn just came here and has just been turning it around for us. Dallas is 13-2 at home versus NFC East teams since 2016. It was our first pick six, so Diggs had a pick six, and I thought he should have done the Dion. What was his high step?
Dance.
The primetime
Yeah.
high steps. I thought he should have done that. You know, we got in this big debate on the group me about why you got to stay classy, but I'm like, dude, it's Monday night against Philadelphia. Like, take the biggest shit on them because you know they would do it to us if they had the opportunity. But that was Trayvon Diggs was the first pick six for us since 2017. Up to that point, he was the first Cowboy with an interception in the first 3 games of the season since Everson Walls in 1985, and now he has it in 4 straight. So that's the franchise record.
Yep.
You
You want to get into today's game?
Yeah, but
Okay.
first I had a question for you. You about to call Ryan? I had a question. Should we ask him too, or just you?
We can ask him.
All right. Okay.
So we're going to use some of this technology that we've invested in, and we're going to bring on a caller. We know him as Tom Prompt.
I don't know Tom Prompt. I never called him that in my life.
Tom Prompt.
You can say it again. It doesn't register to me at all.
Well, neither does Baloney, but I called him Baloney for a long time.
Well, on my phone, it's Billy Jack Thompson. So I guess I have a different name.
See?
Yeah, Billy Jack.
He is a good friend. He is a listener. He is a member of our fantasy football league. So we're
I'm going to ask him about
call.
that L last week.
We're going to give him a call and see and get his thoughts on the Cowboys.
Whew.
Hello?
Hello, is this Ryan?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Ryan, you're on the air. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, you got to talk.
Okay.
Why do you sound like a scared child right now? We told you we were calling you.
That's why I'm scared. You guys are calling me.
Are you in the bath? Are we interrupting bath time?
No, I wish. I am doing a face mask, though.
Oh, nice. First things first, let's get the important business out of the way. How's the Shaq-a-roni from Papa John's?
Okay, so we got by the commercial, and it's incredible. It goes all the way to the crust, the sauce and the cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Okay, that was the hard-hitting question I needed.
All right. Next question. You ready?
Mm.
How's that L taste from last week? Buckhorn
Well-
boy, I got the trophy right here, buddy. Got the trophy sitting at the desk for me.
So, I wasn't feeling good anyway going into it, and then you went down, and then somebody, I think Brandon probably talked to you. Was like, "Hey, man, you know, you still got a good team coming up," and I was like, "He's fucking right." God damn it! and then when it happened, it it hurt.
It happens.
Well, if I could, I'm not watching the game now. It's actually kind of a trash game, the Tampa Bay.
That sucks.
I think Tampa's up 16-14.
Why are you ruining it? I had it recording. We were going to watch it later.
Oh, my bad.
Y'all
Yeah,
aren't watching
dog.
it now?
No, we're recording right now. We're in a dark room
Oh.
surrounded by garbage.
Oh, okay. It's 45-42.
Oh, shootout. Hell yeah. Did a guy parachute onto the field? Is Harambe resurrected and running out?
Don't even joke about that, bro.
Yeah, you're right. R.I.P. R.I.p. Harambe.
Dude.
Yeah, we don't joke about Harambe on this podcast.
Yeah.
Matt looks so serious right now.
Don't fucking joke.
His lips are pressed tightly together.
Are
Face
you
is getting red.
fucking kidding me? No, it's Yeah, if I could bounce back and beat Justin, it'd be nice. But
I would love that.
That loss sucks, man. I wanted that trophy. So I think we play again. Do we not? In the regular season?
In the fucking championship, dog.
That's what I said, dude. Super Bowl, baby.
Great radio. This is a fucking train wreck so far. All right, so let's get into the Cowboy game from today.
Well, hold on, man. I got those questions I want to ask. It's a simple question. I'm going to give you 3 situations where you can only keep one of these players. So two players, but you can only keep one. Parsons or Diggs? What?
Okay. No, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. You can only keep one of them. You keeping Parsons or are you keeping Diggs on this team?
I think it's kind of easy. Well, no, I don't know. It's going to be hard to go against Diggs after the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But that's what's it called? Recency bias. But we need Micah Parsons, like a guy like Micah Parsons. I'm just going to go recent because we hadn't had really a good corner.
I think he's our best corner in 20 years.
I mean, who's the young guy we got, Matt? Or both of you all that burnt out and we got rid of them?
Mike Jenkins? I was a big Mike Jenkins fan.
What position?
It was a cornerback, I thought, and like he was.
Claiborne? Morris Claiborne?
Yeah, Morris Claiborne.
Yeah, they traded up for that.
Yeah.
I'm with you though. I'm with you. I take Diggs, Matt.
I think I'm taking Diggs just because you have to put a premium on 2 spots on defense in the NFL now, and that's pass rusher, that's getting to the quarterback, and that's
corner.
That's your secondary because the league is designed.
It's a passing league.
It's a passing league. So, his play in the last 4 weeks doesn't hurt. I think if we hadn't signed Jalen Smith and we, like you'd said, kept Byron Jones, you got Byron Jones on one side who has like a 5% reception rate against him.
They don't even throw to him.
And you'd have Trayvon Diggs on the other side. To me,
that might, without knowing any other rosters, that might be the best 1-2 corner set or combo in the league if that were true.
But give me Diggs, even though Micah Parsons is a freak. You can line them up anywhere.
Yeah, that's a great thing. We get to keep them both.
Yeah.
This is hypothetical, guys.
Okay, so what's your next one?
Yeah. Next one, you keeping Zeke or you keeping Cooper?
Oh.
I think
so we all remember when we signed Cooper, right?
Yeah.
And it was like we gave all this away, and I was in Utah with me and Brandon, and we were both like, that's a fucking win all day, even though he got hurt all the time.
He's a top 10 receiver.
What was it? Oh, Zeke or I'm keeping Zeke, dude. Like, I don't like the I love Tony Pollard. I think he's dope, but I think he's so dope because Zeke's there. If Pollard's alone, I think he gets stuffed. I don't think he's I like him, but I don't think he's the fucking number one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think you're wrong, but I think it makes sense.
Ooh.
I think you keep Cooper because
I finally convinced Matt. We're gonna trade Zeke, guys. It's finally happening. I broke him down.
Look, I love
the paper. It's done.
I love Zeke Elliott. I defend him all the time.
Hold on, let me call Tim call the show right now. Break this story.
But I think with losing Gallup, and I think in this hypothetical we're still going to lose Gallup next year. I love Zeke. I just don't love the contract, and he showed his worth today. And I think Zeke does a ton of little things that just the casual fan may not pick up on, like blitz pickup,
falling forward. He's probably the best. That sounds like a joke, but he's probably the best in the league at falling forward and getting that extra yard.
I think you saw today on 2 or 3 several plays.
3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Several plays he drugged the pile for an extra 3 or 4 yards.
He is the best at that.
And I think you've got a perfect situation now where you've got thunder and lightning. And I hate to use that analogy, but you've got Zeke, and then you do have Pollard, where you can put him in space. If you get him in space, it's over. And he proved that. He's proven that over this season. And with somebody like Kellen Moore, and I'm kind of making an argument for both. But I'm still keeping Coop over Zeke just because I think you could promote Pollard and you could still find another running back in the 3rd round. Look at Kenneth Gainwell in Philly, another Memphis guy. It's crazy to think that Pollard and Gainwell were in the same backfield at one point.
I thought they had one other guy.
They did. They had 4 dudes.
that are all.
I want to say
now.
Antonio Gibson was in Memphis too.
That's who it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Gibson. Yeah, because like he's the best.
But yeah, I think I'm keeping Coop just because he's a top 5 wide receiver. His route running is elite. He plays through injuries, and I think he's more valuable than people realize.
Yeah, I'm also keeping Cooper just because of something you just said too. It's easy to me. It'd be easier to replace that running back in the draft than it would replacing that wide receiver in the draft.
For sure.
It's rare to hit on a good. I mean, it happens, but I think you could find a deeper value running back later on in the draft.
For sure.
All right, boys, last one. What you got?
What contract do we have left with Amari Cooper? Was it like 3 years or something?
Yeah, like 20 per. I mean, he's getting paid like crazy.
So we got him next season, like locked down too.
I think he's in his second year of the contract,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Mhm.
So he's got at least. Was it a 4-year deal?
It was a 4-year.
So yeah, next year and the year after. But all that money's going to be coming off when we have to pay like Diggs and Lamb, and we keep killing it in the draft. But these contracts like Jalen and Zeke and Cooper are all going to be up within the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, we'll see how this season goes. Also, you have one more question.
Well,
it's follow up. I have a question for both of y'all too.
Okay, all right.
After.
After. All right.
Yeah.
So this is the last one. Same format. Who are you keeping? Dan Quinn or Kellen Moore?
Kellen Moore.
Really, I think Dan Quinn because what he's done turning this around.
Well, it's hard to see if it's hard to know
What
if
the fuck is this?
It's all right.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to look up some stats for the game.
Okay.
So I can.
It'd have been better if it was like the Pornhub sound.
Dude, we all know what that sounds like. And then you just hear volume like disappear real quick.
Everyone knows, like everyone listens, like okay.
All right, yeah. Matt's on his computer.
So Kellen, is his contract over this year? Because I've been hearing.
No.
But he could probably. I think it's easy for like a coach to get out of a. If he's offered a head coaching job somewhere, like
which
we'd
get.
be dicks. He could book.
What if he gets offered more money to take Jason Garrett's job in New York?
Well, then we'll match it. Fuck that. He can't go there. He's actually good at his job.
I saw a tweet today that some fantasy thing I follow. They're printing off fired Jason Garrett shirts, and it's like, oh hey, been there, done that.
Yeah, we know how you feel. That's what it's stupid is New York Giants knew exactly what they were getting. They played this guy twice a year, and for a decade. And as soon as he lost his job, they're like, that's the fucking guy we need on our team. And we were like, take him, please. And now I'm saying the same thing about McCarthy because I would honestly say I want to keep them both, and I want to get rid of McCarthy.
Yeah, that was my thing. Is like I know teams are going to be coming after Kellen. I know he was in consideration for the Boise State job in the offseason.
That'd be a great
I
job
just don't know if I give up on a young, innovative play caller.
Yeah.
Who's molding with Dak, right? So Dak's been with him for a little bit. So.
Yeah.
You could see guys like what Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan have done, like these young minds, and Matt LaFleur, same thing. So it's hard once you find that to let someone else take it and like reap those rewards.
The only thing that concerns me from a head coach standpoint is he's pretty meek. Like he's not a raw guy. He's not assertive. Yeah. He looks like, he's waiting for his mom to pick him up from high school. Like,
whereas Dan Quinn is the other way around, but I think you've convinced me because he is such like a beautiful mind when it comes to football that I wouldn't want to lose that. And like Ryan said, the bond he's forming with Dak, could be special. So I think I just switched my vote. I'm going Kellen Moore. I'm going to keep Kellen because offenses win championships now.
Yep.
Oh, we're not sure that it's Dan Quinn completely behind the defense. It could be the people just.
I don't know, dude. We got 10 takeaways already after 4 weeks, and we're like, we got 5 more sacks today. I think he's a big part of it.
I hope so, actually. And I don't know. It's probably more of a question for us at the end of the season, but.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Exactly. We'll see. Once we've raised that Lombardi, we'll call you back.
But
Ryan had a question too, right?
Oh yeah, real quick.
Uh-huh.
Are y'all mad or happy that we didn't go after Richard Sherman?
Richard Sherman.
Yeah. I mean, if he hadn't, domestically abused somebody, I would have been like, yeah, we should have gone after him because he signed for nothing. But I don't know. I think with that shit hanging over him to bring it into this locker room, because I think he would have been a good mentor, especially for that room specifically.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with Earl Thomas. Like we wanted him until he was fucking some woman in a room with his brother, and his wife showed up with a gun, and then it's like, well, I don't know. It's kind of hot to touch now.
he got carted off the field, giving the double bird to his head coach.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a G move.
Kind of a bold fucking move.
Oh no, he's that kind of guy. I love him.
But he's a spoiler alert. He's starting tonight because somebody from Tampa, I guess, got hurt. But he's starting straight up on Tampa tonight.
Yeah, he started tonight.
But I'm just saying, him opposite of like Trayvon Diggs, right?
I mean, he's an upgrade over Brown for sure, and he's got that length and the Dan Quinn connection.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they
Seattle.
didn't at least bring him in.
And we have no way of knowing if they didn't kick the tires on that,
Yeah.
but they may have. But let's get into this game. Cowboys get the win, 36-28. The game really wasn't as close as the score indicates.
Yeah, we bailed at that point.
Let me just run over some stats real quick. Dak Prescott, 14-22, 188 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's kind of what you get when you get the running game going. Zeke Elliott, 20 carries for 143. He averaged 7.2 a carry, and that's more in line of what you want to see.
For $16 million.
He had a touchdown. Tony Pollard, 10 for 67,
Woo.
and Dak had 4 for 35. And
we ran all over him.
And and Dak's runs were really important at the time that they happened.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them were to get first downs. I know I hold my breath every time I see him leave the pocket. But we've just got to trust that, he's going to make smart decisions as far as getting down and protecting his body. Amari Cooper, three catches for 69. Yes. Dalton Schultz, big day, 6 for 58 on 8 targets, 1 touchdown. Cedric Wilson, 2 for 30.
That Cedric Wilson was sweet too
When
when
he
he
spin
stopped
move.
and just spun. I think
dude,
all those touchdowns.
Press that B button. Right?
Yeah, he pressed the B button.
Because it was Schultz, Cedric Wilson, and Cooper all were on our end of the field, so we were pretty close, and it was just like glorious to watch all that. When he did that spin move and just basically trotted in, I was like, dude, we're fucking winning this game.
CeeDee Lamb with a quiet day, 2 for 13 on 5 targets. They had him pretty blanketed all day.
It came in, wasn't Carolina the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL coming in? Granted, it's 3 weeks, but
and they've played nobody.
Exactly.
Trayvon Diggs, probably the star of the day. 2 picks, 2 passes defended.
That second one was insane.
Anthony Brown had 3 passes defended, and then we got Micah Parsons with the sack, Chauncey Golston with half a sack, Odigizua with half a sack, and then Terrell Basham with the sack. Greg Zuerlein was perfect on the day, 1 for 37. And then, that's pretty much it for the stats.
I would say it sounds good, too, to hear those names that, a year ago we would have, because we just drafted these guys, so it's a youth movement. All those guys are stepping up with Tank being out.
Yeah.
And these are young guys. It's not like we're, bringing guys in off the streets or having to trade for veterans. We're developing these guys and starting them early.
And I want to talk about Odigizua real quick. He is going to be a monster. He is playing so well for a rookie through 4 weeks.
I feel so bad for Neville Gallimore too, because that would have been his spot.
And he came on and he came on and played well last week.
Yeah,
last year.
We'll get him back. We'll have him back, and we'll have Tank back like midseason.
And we're gonna get Boss Man Fats, our
I'll believe it when I see it.
3rd round pick. So yeah, we started off the scoring. We went 3 and out on our first drive, and then we exchanged punts. With Carolina, they go 3 and out, and then we go on a 9-play, 80-yard drive, and Zeke gets that first touchdown for a yard over the left side right there to put us up 7-0. And then Carolina comes right back, 9 plays, 75 yards, tied up 7-7. Sam Darnold, who is leading the league in rushing touchdowns.
Leading the entire league, including running backs.
Weird, right?
I think he's got like 5 already.
That just goes to show you how bad the situation was, and more specifically Adam Gase. And I saw this floating around last week. When Adam Gase graduated, the next year his high school team went on to win the state championship. I think Adam Gase was at LSU or somewhere. He left. The team won a national championship. Now Sam Darnold leaves. The next year he's playing out of his mind. I thought it goes to show how bad the situation is, how bad Adam Gase is, and how bad I feel for Zach Wilson, because I think Zach Wilson is a great quarterback, has the potential to be a great quarterback.
But Gase isn't there at least.
No, but same Jets.
Same Jets, yeah.
Same Jets. But yeah,
the Jets who have made what, 2 AFC championships since the Cowboys have though in
Yep,
1996.
that's
People always take a shit on the Jets. It's like they've been to 2 championships, AFC championships.
Well, it's the same reason we're happy for Stafford too, right?
yeah.
We all like Stafford. Now that he's the fuck out of Detroit, it's like hell yeah.
And we always knew the talent was there for Stafford.
Oh, yeah, Stafford's.
I mean, he's a baller.
If he wins a Super Bowl in his career, he might be a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for sure.
If he can get a ring, I think he's in the Hall of Fame.
For sure.
Over Eli Manning.
Fuck yeah! If I had to win one game, I'm taking Stafford over dumbface Manning.
Eli Manning,
Mouth
Super Bowls,
breather.
dude.
He's undefeated
I mean,
against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
It's a tough case, dude. I hate the Giants, but I don't know. Anyway,
so next drive, we get a 9-play, 80-yard drive. We go up 13-7. Prescott, Dak threw to Blake Jarwin for 18 yards on the touchdown. And it was a weird deal because they got a 12-man penalty, and the ball moved up to the 1. I thought it was a smart play to go for 2 right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I did
2
too.
points for 1 yard. I think I'm not mad at him for that.
He made calls that I was happy with. He went for it on 4th down. He did the 2-point conversions. That shit Garrett just wouldn't do.
Yeah. So we start the second quarter. Carolina answers right back with a 13-play, 80-yard drive. Again, Sam Darnold with a designed run for 11 yards and puts them up 14-13. And then throughout the second, it's just kind of we exchange punts. And then that brings us to the third quarter. Carolina gets a 6-play, 49-yard drive, and they miss a field goal. And then we come right back down. 4 plays, 56 yards because we got the field position. Prescott, Dak threw it to Amari Cooper. Beautiful ball for 35 yards.
That was probably my favorite play of the game.
I mean,
and saved his day, Amari. I guess fantasy wise, but yeah.
I think Greg Olson was on the call on the TV broadcast, and I got to give him 2 thumbs up. I thought he was great in the booth.
I've always liked Greg Olson.
So did I.
Yeah, same.
And he said it. He goes, if Dak Prescott went and handed that ball to Amari Cooper, you couldn't have put it in a better spot than. And I think that just goes to show the maturation of Dak. He's hitting all the throws. He's getting up to that Breeze, Manning, as far as game management, being able to call a game where he's reading defenses, checking, calling plays.
Yeah,
he's putting the throws because coming in, we all knew he could run, but could he pass? And I think I don't have a question at all.
I think he leads the league in completion percentage, and now he's got to be up there in touchdowns.
Yeah,
he's not, he's not off to the fiery start last year, but last year we were having to come back and win all of these shitty games.
Yeah,
he's, I would rather my guy go 20 of 27 for 200 yards but get 4 touchdowns, and we just let the running backs milk it out. That's how they fucking did it with Aikman back in the day. That's why Aikman never put up huge numbers, because he didn't have to. We would just win. We would get up, and then we would let Emmett milk it.
Sorry.
Well, a typical game, a typical line for Troy back in the day would be like 21 of 26 for 230 yards and like 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Or
but
2
we
touchdowns.
won.
But we won.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said Emmett or Troy wanted to. He could have broken so many records.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the game we needed him to play.
No.
And we won 3 fucking Super Bowls with him.
So we're up 20-14 at that point. And then we force a punt from Carolina, and then Dak hits Dalton Schultz again for 6 yards. We're up 26-14. And then here comes the first Diggs interception. They were on a 7-play drive. Diggs gets the interception. We turn right back around, and Dak hits Cedric Wilson for that 23-yard touchdown where he spins.
At that point, I knew it was over.
It was 33-14 at that point. And then Diggs gets his second one on the following drive, which was he just broke on the ball, jumped the route, bobbled, fell down, somehow came up with it. But
it was beautiful. Yeah.
Here's what's interesting. And Ryan, I know you watched on TV, so you'll be able to back me up. From that point on, we didn't see Diggs back in the game. And Pam Oliver came on and said a little bit later, and was like, it's just player management.
It's rest. Yeah, player management. It said rest.
It's rest. So then we get a field goal. We get a 37-yarder from Zerline. We're up 36-14. And then in the fourth quarter, Carolina answers. Sam Darnold hit DJ Moore for 6 yards. And then at that point, we punt and they score another touchdown. So it's 36-28. And when I still didn't see him, it was just weird to me.
It starts to get worrisome at that point.
You think when they get within 15, okay, it's a 2-score game, but then they get within 8 and he's still not out. And I scoured Twitter. I listened to the post game when I got home. Nothing was mentioned. And even, before we started recording, I got on Twitter just to see. I guess they were just comfortable with him being out, and I guess they were comfortable with the lead because Carolina had burned 2 timeouts in the third quarter, and they burned one early in the fourth. So, they didn't have that much time, and they couldn't stop the clock other than 2-minute warning.
So McCarthy goes, okay, I don't think I can fuck this up this week.
Right, right. But overall, a good team win.
Yeah, it's like you said, it wasn't as close as the score showed.
No.
We were up like 21 in the fourth quarter, and they just got some garbage time on us, some garbage points.
I think Carolina, it would be a different game if they had Christian McCaffrey. But,
because my nephew was like, are they good? And I was like, they're good, but by far their best player's out, and that's going to hurt them.
But I think it proves Carolina, they played an actual team today. Their first, their other 3 wins, I think they played Houston, maybe the Jets,
Played shitty teams,
and the Giants or something like that.
We've talked about it when we did our season preview. I still think Carolina in a year or 2 can be a much better team and knocking on the door in the playoffs.
I love
soon.
I love Matt Rule, and DJ Moore is a
I think Sam
beast.
Darnold's going to do good there, and with DJ Moore looked good every time he got the ball. He's one of those players you get a little nervous as an opponent. You got the best running back, you got a good defense. You just build from there. Like Carolina will be a good team. Really
I believe so. So Cowboys improved to 3-1.
Giants next week.
We've got Giants next
at
week.
home. I don't know the time though.
I want to say it's a 3 o'clock game.
So do I.
I want to say it's a 3 o'clock game, but I'll double check. Ryan, you got anything on the game today?
Are we good? I mean, because it's not the. Well, I mean, we've all been hurt so many times. But
I'll tell you this:
are we good?
I've already thought where I'm going to put the tattoo for when we win the fucking Super Bowl. It's going to go right on this big meaty thigh, brother.
I'm glad you said that because at some point, because you missed it, Ryan, but I went over to my dad's and watched it with my dad, and I told him at some point, I was like, you know what? My head and my heartache tell me not to get excited, but I think there's something special that could happen.
It's the new coaches. It's everything.
Well, it's okay. So, first off, where's Stephen A. Smith right now? That piece of shit. Having a good time, I guess. Fuck that guy. But I don't know. As everybody before the season said we could be an explosive offense. Blah 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 blah. And then now, you watch all the media and podcasts we listen to. And they're like, oh, yeah, the Cowboys have a really good fucking offense. And it's like, cool. But I'm still looking left and right. You know what I mean? I think whispering, go Cowboys.
Yeah. No. I think the only thing that can derail us is injuries. Obviously, if Dak goes down or if we get another couple pieces off the defense that go down, if Micah Parsons goes down, I think injuries is the only real thing that's going to derail us. Now, because we played the defending champs down to the last drive, lost by 2. If your kicker makes some kicks, we win that game. We find out that the Chargers are a lot better because they go to Kansas City, beat Kansas City. We beat them. We handle Philly, and then we beat an undefeated Panther team who is good. I think, Ryan, you're right. I think it's hard not to get excited, but then you remember the last 25 years and the heartbreak and everything, and it's hard to really get excited and buy in totally.
Well, I'll say too.
I even forgot I forgot Tank Lawrence is out, and with the broken foot, and Lyle Collins is still 3 weeks away on that weed bribe suspension.
Yeah, but haven't Terrence still been great? I don't even know if he's been called for a penalty yet.
No, he hasn't.
And I don't even know if he's given up a sack yet. So he's stepped in and he's done great.
But that's saying, you're right, Ryan. I mean, that's saying something that we've gone this whole 2 weeks. Hadn't mentioned Tank at all. Hadn't missed him.
Yeah.
Nope.
Pass rushers look good.
A rookie came in and filled that void.
Yeah. So
And then Cedric Wilson stepped up for Michael Gallup.
Yeah,
He had
absolutely.
a touchdown last week against Philly. He's got another one today.
Absolutely. So next week is a 325 game, and I think the schedule sets up for us to really go on a run. I don't think we see a real team till week 11. So next week we got the Giants at home, 325 game. Then we go to the Patriots. Week 7's a bye. Then we're at Minnesota, Denver at home, Atlanta at home, and then week 11 we're at the Chiefs. But the Chiefs,
You're not worried about the Vikings?
no.
We beat them last year with Dalton.
I know they're just sneaky fucking good. I don't know. I'm not.
Well,
I'm
we're
not sold on them
sneaky
being a bad
fucking
team.
better.
Hey, week 8, the Vikings game is going to be a cool game because it's Sunday. It's Halloween night, and it's a Sunday night game.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
Sunday night game.
We're going to be hammer drunk watching that game.
Spooky, baby.
But I think our schedule lends us to go on a little run here.
Yeah, the only one that kind of worried me, New England, just because that's always just like a crapshoot because of the way they can scheme. And that might have been it but then I think I remember, if I remember correctly, it's like Chiefs and then Raiders
I've got
pretty
it.
soon.
And then week 12 is
Then
the
it gets
Raiders.
tough. That's the tough part of the
That's
schedule.
Thanksgiving, and then we turn around a week later and go to New Orleans.
That's not as bad as it seems, though.
And then we're at the football team, and then we're at the Giants. We got the football team again at home, and then we finish up with Arizona and at Philly.
I was gonna say that Arizona game, dude. I still think LA might be the best team in the league, and I didn't get to see this game, but apparently Arizona beat them pretty good. It was like 37-20.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, well
Handily.
maybe Arizona's now the best team in that division.
Yeah,
that's just
who had the Cardinals going 4-0? Not fucking
not me.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know I don't think you know, but
how can you be a better NFL coach than you are a college coach?
I don't know.
That's so fucking weird.
You get Kyler Murray.
And he is very handsome. Cliff Kingsbury is very
He's a
handsome, man.
good-looking dude.
Hottest guy in the
Okay,
league.
that wasn't a subject, but anyway, go ahead, Andrew.
Andrew
this guy
knows.
loves he loves Kingsbury.
Yeah, dude.
I love Kingsbury. And Andrew
Did you
knows.
see that fucking house, bro? I would walk around butt naked in high heels for him in that house if I got to stay there. That was a nice house he's living in.
I did see that. It is a dope house.
Andrew knows about my man crush on Kyler Murray. I think anytime you got a player like Kyler Murray, you got a chance.
We go on double dates together. I
Yeah,
got
dude.
the coach, you got the quarterback.
Fuck yeah. Let's do it. We're going Dutch though because they're picking up the tab.
You
They
kidding
make
me?
more money.
I'm spoiled. I'm sugar baby. They're spoiling me.
All right. But yeah, good win today. I'm with you, Ryan. I'm excited, but I'm just so nervous. I'm so scared.
It's a whisper right now. Not even that, because we all know we have shitty fans, So there's guys out there right now, and they're Chinkos, and they're fucking they're white Reeboks, and they're like,
I'm wearing right Reeboks right now.
fucking Cowboys, bro. Look, I'm not going to do that. Same thing with Philly. I said this. I caught some shit from you guys, but hey, let's quietly demolish the Eagles because they're trash. But this week, that was a good win because they're undefeated. Weren't we dogs in this game?
No, I think we were
the underdogs.
I think we were 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
Well,
just because
it
they knew Carolina's not what their record says they are. Same thing with Denver today. Denver's undefeated. They played Baltimore and lost by like 7. It was like 24-7.
Bridgewater
here's
went
another
out.
hot take.
I saw that.
Baltimore's
hit hard.
trash. God,
Baltimore's trash.
so bad. I think they're so bad. I think they're a team that gets to the playoffs and they get destroyed by like the fucking, not the Patriots now, but like the Patriots. And it's like, yeah, you should have, you have a winning record, but somehow.
You just described the Cowboys for the last 25 years with your comparison to Baltimore.
So he would recognize if anybody knows it's him.
That's what we do. We get to the playoffs and we get destroyed. That's the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, so who you got then? Who you got? You got to pick one. Tony Romo or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson. Tony Romo never won an MVP.
I don't give a shit. I'd rather have Tony Romo.
Give me Tony
than Lamar.
Y'all are
God, I
picking with
love
your
Tony
hearts.
Romo.
I'm looking at a Romo jersey right now that Matt brought over. y'all are picking with your hearts, bro. Not with your heads. If I was a GM, my team would destroy your team. I would have 300 rushing yards
That's
and
fine.
about 150 passing yards.
Are you sure
And
that
your
much?
Your quarterback would strain his back doing a front flip in the end zone like a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, and you want to talk about injuries while you're claiming Tony Romo?
Especially back injuries.
Yeah, you want to talk back injuries and your guy's Romo? Do you know what you're doing right now? It's a slippery slope, Ryan.
Look, I just love him, okay?
I miss him so
that
much.
That came out of nowhere. You guys were just like getting boners over here thinking about Romo.
I miss him, okay?
I miss him too. I'm with you, man.
Every time he comes on the Jim Nance call, and I go, "Oh, Tone, there you are."
Tone.
That's what I got him saved in my phone.
All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate it. We're gonna wrap it up here. We appreciate you coming on. We gotta get you in studio so you can do a whole show with us.
Hey, Ryan, real quick. Our 2 movies we picked out randomly. It's gonna be either Dumb and Dumber or Casino. How fucking random is that?
That is random, and you're gonna have to. Well,
Matt's never seen Casino.
Never seen Casino.
okay, so you have to do Casino, and it's gonna blow. Matt, what are you doing,
Dude,
bud?
you would be
Hey,
shocked.
Matt, I got another movie for you. It's called Heat. And it's incredible.
I own Heat. I've seen Heat. But I put a bunch of movies in this cup for us to draw. You would be, and I had to admit this to Andrew, and it really hurt me because I know Andrew's a movie guy.
Random. Oh,
yeah, we draw random.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we just draw them out of a cup. That's why it was the most random draw. An award-winning movie, and
I had to admit this to Andrew. You would be shocked at the movies and shows that I haven't seen. Like, I think I put Good Will Hunting on one.
yeah.
I've never seen Good Will Hunting. Never seen Godfather. Never seen The Sopranos.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, dude, I'm a terrible person.
Well, dude, Casino just has like a record-breaking soundtrack, and there's a couple songs when they come in. Oh my god, you got to do Casino.
Okay.
Well, you got to vote. We're gonna make a poll, and you got to vote for it.
Yeah, well, it'll be up on our
Because
Instagram.
we are a people, or what am I trying to say?
We're a show of the people.
Yeah, we listen to what the votes say.
I might make some burner accounts. The Casino's going to be what
Hey,
y'all
man, just
want.
give us some likes. I'll
give
take
us
it.
some likes and follows.
I'll text my buddy Katie, and we'll get it done.
Tell Tone. Tell Tone to vote too. Tell him I said hi.
Matt Anderson, what's up? And Kyler, is that who you'll...
Yeah. All right, dude. We're gonna get out of here. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we've been on like 2 hours already.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes, so we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay, well, hold on. I got to tell you a show. I know I'm at the wrong segment, but what am I watching?
Yeah,
Have you guys watched Only Murders in the Building? You watched that?
No, I've heard it's good though on Hulu.
Hulu. It's Steve Martin Short, and
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez. It's great. So I check it out. It's not even fully out yet. They're doing like episode a week, and
old school.
And I finally knocked out like 3 episodes the other night, and I got to where they haven't released an episode. Let me tell you how pissed I was about that. PTSD of like Game of Thrones, we're like having to wait for episodes. What the fuck is this? So,
have you seen Squid Game? I heard that's like going to be
everyone talk about that, dude. I'm gonna watch it for next time for sure.
So, quick review on that. I didn't watch it. Dustin watched like 2 episodes. Then the next day, I go to bed early. I come out and I'm getting like milk and cookies, and this dude's still up at like 1 a.m. I go, okay. Talked to him the next day. He stayed up till like 5 a.m. Finished the whole series and said it's incredible. So
wow, high praise.
Netflix says it's going to be the most streamed show of all time on their platform.
Damn, more high praise.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, I've had Dakota told me about it, and then a buddy at work told me about it. Like within like a day of each other, they were just saying how like you'll just burn through it.
Yeah. So maybe I'll watch it next week. Next time I talk to you guys, we'll see. But thanks for calling me. It was random,
Yeah. Let's get you in here in studio. You'll do a full episode with us.
Yeah, dude, you'll get your gift bag. We're getting out gift bags now, so I already gave you a copy of MacGruber, so I'll have to get you some replacement. We're giving out pinky rings, dude. We got fucking fanny packs.
It better be a mood ring.
This guy's over here wearing a fucking gold pinky ring like he's fucking John Gotti or something.
Dude, it's so dope. And I got one for Matt, but it won't fit. So
he won't fit my fat sausage fingers.
That one's for you, dog. I gotta get a size up for Matt.
Oh, did y'all cover Big Brother in this?
Yes, we did. You'll get it tomorrow, buddy.
Our Mount Rushmore was Big Brother villains or assholes. So we talked like 30 minutes of Big Brother.
Yeah, you'll get 30 minutes of Big Brother tomorrow, dude.
All right, yeah, I'll tune in. Right on.
All right, man.
Yeah, thanks for calling me, guys.
Yeah, love you, man.
All right, take it easy.
All right. Yeah, love y'all.
All right, later. And that was Ryan. I don't think that was too bad for our first time taking a call.
Oh, man, I liked it.
All right, so like we said, we're
gotta wrap
going
this
on
up.
over 2 minutes.
It's like almost 11 o'clock. Matt's got to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything but Big Brother and football, so I'm going to spare you on that one. I have listened to season 3 of Up and Vanished is out. It's a case on either Montana or Utah of she's a indigenous woman out of Utah, vanished without a trace, and I think I'm 3 or 4 episodes in. But Up and Vanished is a great true crime series. The first 2 seasons are just really well done. And I've been listening to that, and I'm almost finished with my Big Brother watch of every season.
That's crazy. You burnt through that.
Yeah. So, what about you? What have you been watching?
I told you about it. It was on. I watched it on Hulu, but it's an ESPN because it's a 30 for 30. They did a 4-parter called Once Upon a Time in Queens. It was a 4-part documentary series about basically the Renaissance of New York and the rise of the Mets in the city. So the first episode gives you a little history of the Mets, and then it talks about the 80s. So basically New York City was at an all-time low in 1977. That was the year of Summer of Sam. That's when they had their big blackouts in the summer, which led to a lot of looting and violence and riots. And it was just designated like a dump hole, And from there, arose this phoenix that we now know of. Like I said, it was a Renaissance period for the city of New York. And so basically from 78, right after that, up until the late 80s, there was just a boom back in New York. The music scene was back. Wall Street was big. Everything was just bigger and better. And the Mets were that city's team. And it talks about how they started young. They started drafting these guys. That's how they got Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. And they had guys what was that guy's name? Kurt. Oh, it was a Hispanic dude. Kurt Hernandez. Keith Hernandez. That was it. Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter. And they were the older guys, the rocks of the team. And it was a really good baseball documentary, but it was also about the city of New York and that lifestyle of the 80s, the glitz and the glam and the cocaine. And because Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry each had substance abuse problems, and they talk about it, and they talk about how it was so accessible and so easy to get in New York at that time. So it was just really good. It was my favorite 30 for 30 I think I've ever seen. And they were each about an hour long, so 4 parts, 4 hours total, but I completely loved it. I did watch The Many Saints of Newark. I watched that Friday night. I stayed up without Claire and watched it. I've had this pink ring before, bro. Oh, yeah. It's a lifestyle. It's not a choice. Okay. It was really good. It has James Gandolfini's son plays little, Tony Soprano, and he looks just like him. It was really well cast. So if you know the show and you know the cast members like Pussy and Paulie and Syl, when you see them, you're like, holy fucking shit! That looks how I would imagine that guy looking 20 years ago. So the casting was just fantastic. Wasn't it David Simon, the creator, or maybe that's the guy from The Wire? But anyways, he wrote it, and so he was fully behind it. So it was a genuine Sopranos product. And I won't give anything away, but when the last scene ends, it's playing the intro music for the TV show. So it would lead right in, it was leading into an episode. And I was like, I just wanted to watch the whole series in one night after watching that. I love that show. Another thing, so that was on HBO Max, I should say. This other one is on Netflix, and it's Big Mouth, season 3.
Have you ever heard of this show called
I don't
Big
know
Mouth?
if you guys have heard that. That's an inside joke we've been making for years now. I don't know if anyone's heard this. It's on Netflix, and it's called Big Mouth, and it's really fucking funny.
It's got Nick Kroll. That's all
Nick
you,
Kroll.
all you need
It's
to
got
know.
John Mulaney. John Mulaney to me is even better. It's got a really good cast, so it's animated. And it's about these boys going through puberty and these changes, but it's they have no, it's nothing's off limits, no filter. They put some shit in there. It's 2010, even 5 years ago. I don't know if that makes it on air, and because it's not a prime network show, you can do these things on these streaming services. So it's just its own kind of show, man. There's nothing else like it. It's really well written and really funny. So and then what am I listening to?
What are you listening to?
What am I? Well, currently I'm listening to you in my earphones. But this week I was listening to 2 or 3 podcasts, and I'm pretty sure they're all on Spotify. One was called Bad Bad Thing, and it was just wild because it's about a woman. So no spoilers because going into it, like this woman found out her husband was cheating on her. They've been married for like 25 years. They're like upper 40s. New to an area. He's cheating on her with like some 32-year-old woman who's his boss. She finds out. She becomes obsessed. She starts making like these videos of her like recording herself, like having these. I mean, she's having a mental breakdown. Like she knows like he wants this younger woman, and it just drives her crazy. And they had like probably, I don't know, hundreds of hours of these tapes that, you'll get to hear the real audio and you'll get to hear the anguish in her voice. And you start to feel bad for her. You really do. And like the husband was dragging it on. He wouldn't divorce her. He wouldn't pick between her and the mistress. And eventually she fucking goes to that lady's house, shoots her in the face, and then kills herself and lets the husband deal with it. So that going in, right? And it's not, and then it's just how we got here. And, it talks about, how you can help with this. Like it's like a lot of it's about like mental illness, and it was pretty fucked up to hear her planning this out. Like she had to go buy the gun and she had to find out where this, like, oh, I forgot. This is how crazy would she get. She would get like tracking devices and audio devices and like sew it into his suit pocket, and she would put like a GPS on his car. Like she knew she was convinced he was cheating on her, and she wanted proof, and she got it. And then when she got proof, she wanted to like know everything. So there's so much audio, like the legit quality audio, because she recorded everything secretly without his knowledge. And then after she did all this, he found it all and, made it.
That's insane.
Yeah, it really was. The other thing was, it's called Suspect. And this was about a murder that took place like at a Halloween party, like in 2008 in Washington. And it was a woman from like India. She was a really good like engineer, murdered in her apartment building that was at this. It was like the apartment was going on. The party was going on, and the apartment was just nearby. And it was like a pretty brutal murder, and they didn't find her for a few days. And then so everyone there is like a suspect. It's like one of those classic whodunit, like the game of fucking Clue, because you got all these people here, and they have a couple of suspects, but the one they really hone in on, and it's just sad because he was the only black guy there, and he had a criminal history. He had a little bit of a rap sheet. So they really just tunnel vision down on this guy, and they arrested him. And it's basically about like, I'm already convinced like on episode 6 because it's ongoing. So, we don't have the conclusion yet, but I'm already convinced he didn't do it. Like he stayed at the apartment like days afterwards because he was hanging out with buddies and they were watching football games all while this murder victim was already dead in her apartment. And they're like, he never left the apartment. He's got alibis for all this. He hung out. And then like on the 4th day, he finally left. And then like, they're like, then they discover the body, so they want to know who was there, and he was the only one that didn't live there, and he was like friends of friends, so he just kind of stuck out, and they just got tunnel vision and just went after this guy, and he's been locked up. He was locked up for like 8 years without a charge or something crazy like that. Like they finally put a charge on him, and he's locked up currently. That's what they're telling you, like he's locked up for this case, but they're trying to prove his innocence.
Yeah.
The last one, this one's over. I mentioned it before, so it's completely done if you want to finish it, and that's Murder in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
That was the Christopher Vaughn case. Again, like another man that's, in my opinion, wrongfully convicted for a crime. He was convicted of killing his wife and his 3 kids in a car. Well, it's pretty clear to me that the wife and the mother is the one who did it, that she had like a mental breakdown, killed her 3 children, and then shot him 2 times, and then turned the gun on herself. And he's still locked up. Like they concluded he's currently still locked up. They said they'd give an update if any, because this is now just getting the word out to a lot of people. So just these cases where it's like, tunnel vision sucks when cops get it and railroad somebody who didn't do it. So basically two cases of wrongful conviction, in my opinion. So kind of dark, dude. I always listen to my fucked up podcast.
They're
so
Claire
good,
said.
She's always like, that's why you're always like in a bad mood, or you're always so negative.
I'm like, no,
And
this
then
is my happy place.
Slap her around a little bit. It's like, dude, you don't tell me what I do. Just kidding. Troy loves those domestic abuse jokes, though. He told me, he's like, I'm only here for domestic abuse jokes. So shout out, Troy.
He loves DV jokes, but he hates kids.
God, he does.
Shout out, Troy. And with that, we're gonna wrap it up.
Thank God, dude. It's like 11
It's
o'clock.
a marathon, but it was fun. Had a lot of fun.
That's what she said.
Guys, please go and vote on the movie you want us to review. We'll be back. I think we're going to record this week. We're going to get back on track. We're going to record this week, so you're going to get 2 back-to-back pretty quick. Again, guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate all the positive feedback. We appreciate the love. But for Matt
And I'm Andrew.
We're out.